Across the Lone Star State, their stories echo through history. Tonight at the Herd Center on the campus of Baylor University in Waco, we immortalize these legends in the 2025 Texas High School Football Hall of Fame induction ceremony presented by Texas Farm Bureau Insurance. Hello again, everybody. I'm Greg Tepper alongside my friend and colleague Ishmael Johnson here as we get prepared for, quite frankly, a night of Texas high school football history.
Yeah, every year this is really one of the coolest events we do, coolest events we cover. Blast from the past, and then today, kind of for the first time, a really blast from the present, honoring the present as well as honoring the past with some of the inductees we're talking about.
We talked a lot off air about this particular class that's going to be inducted here at the Herd Center here on the campus of Baylor, and it really does run the gamut of players from yesteryear who were legends in their own right and local legends especially, all the way up to some of the biggest names in all of football at any level.
Yeah, it really does do a good job of enticing a lot of the younger audience, right? The people that grew up watching football now, and then introducing them to the legends such as Gary Keithley of Alvin, who we'll talk about later. Introducing everybody and giving them that spotlight to say, hey, by the way, they're all on the same platform, right? These are all legends of high school football. They all got their start here. Wherever they ended doesn't really matter. They all realize where they got their start, where they really made their legends start, and it's Texas high school football.
We are so pleased to bring it to you here on Dave Campbell's Texan Live. This is, of course, we're going to get you all the way up to showtime. Coming up at 7 o'clock, and we're going to kick it over to the Master of Ceremonies himself, Craig Way, who will guide you the rest of the way. You will hear from all of the inductees throughout the course of the evening, but there's so many honorees going on here, and you'll notice that we are, by the way, here at the Herd Center. We're not at the Texas High School Football Hall, or Texas Football Hall, Sports Hall of Fame, rather, across the street. They needed a bigger barn because we got a lot of people in here, and here to tell us a little bit about what's going on here is our third member of our crew. Let's throw it to Mallory Hartley. Hi, Mallory.
Thanks, Tep. Now, if y'all have watched our Hall of Fame coverage before, you might be looking behind me and saying, it actually looks a little bit different this year than it has in years past. Well, guys, that's because this might be one of the biggest Hall of Fame classes, induction classes that we have seen here before. Now, usually we're over at the Hall of Fame, Sports Hall of Fame Center, right? Where there seats about 300 people, 350, you know what. But behind me, they're expecting over 650 people to be in attendance for tonight's induction ceremony. So you can see we've got Robert Griffin III's table back there. All the way over here to the right, we've got Patrick Mahomes' table. And then we've got Coach Jeff Traylor's table somewhere there in the middle. And then also the 12 state championship head coaches are here. I'm actually looking over here at Drew Sanders, the head coach at Austin Vandergrift, enjoying his meal. But guys, the energy in this room, the excitement that these people have to see some of the greats get inducted in the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame, it is really, really a cool feeling. And the best part about it, buffet food. It looks amazing. I was running over there a minute ago to go grab my mic, and I walked by the buffet style food, chicken, green beans, cheesecake. I am so excited to go grab me some of that and watch one of the coolest classes to get inducted in the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame. Guys, back to you.
Okay. Great. There's a rundown of the menu as well. Thank you, Mallory Hartley.
Well
we know what she's locked in on. We know what she's locked in on here at the.
Very enticing to be here while they're doing it.
It does smell good.
It smells great.
I will say that. This is, of course, a very special night, and we mentioned that we are in a different place, a bigger barn, and a big reason why. It's funny. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes. That's somebody that people know. Yeah. Robert Griffin III, a Heisman Trophy winner.
Yep.
But you texted me earlier and said, you know who's filling up this barn? It's Jeff Traylor, boys.
So for those that don't know, we get here a day before to help set up all of our stuff, the desk, everything. Our producer, Ashley Pickle, needs to make sure everything's good to go, right, to make sure this is a good ship. And they have the names on the tables already. And I'm counting, and I'm like, okay, here's where Patrick Mahomes is going to be. Here's where Jeff Traylor's going to be. Here's where Jeff Traylor's family is going to be. Here's another Taylor for Jeff Traylor. Here's another 5 tables for Jeff Traylor. Like, Mahomes has maybe 2. 2 including Tech, and then Baylor has 2 because both Brad Gable and RG3 are going. So Baylor has 2. And then both Gable and RG3 maybe have the 3 combined. Jeff Traylor has 5 tables by himself. So, look, we're really talking about, Patrick Mahomes, whatever. UTSA head coach / Gilmer legend Jeff Traylor is the one that's filling this place up.
This is a who's who of Texas high school football walking around here. I know you and I have just been nerding out as people walk by. Of course, all of us 12 state champions here as well. We're going to get to work talking about some of the people who will be honored here tonight, obviously into the Hall of Fame, but there's also a couple of very special awards that are handed out annually by the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame. We'll start with the Gordon Wood Award, which is a very special award presented to an especially noteworthy high school football team that displays good sportsmanship, the ability to overcome challenges, and support of the community. This is an award that resonates within Texas high school football coaching community.
Yep.
This is an award that coaches really want. And this year, going to the Columbus Cardinals, the 3A Division I state champs, and few teams as dominant and as exceptional in 2024 rather as the Columbus Cardinals.
Yeah, pound for pound, probably one of the more impressive teams we saw in the state. I mean, you had it encapsulated a lot of what we love about this sport. It is a small, quote unquote, small school program that had big time college football talent that you're going to be seeing playing on Saturdays. Of course, led by Adam Schobel, Mr. Texas Football, of course. You really just encapsulated this year. It felt like going into the year, this could have been a special year, and then all they did was live up to every single mark that we had in the preseason.
Yeah, and you mentioned Adam Schobel, Grayson Rigdon,
of course,
John Schobel. Yep. They are absolutely loaded with talent, but it's important to remember this was their first ever state championship. This is their first title in program history. They've come close.
Yep.
And I'll be honest, I think that all of us sat back when we were watching the season progress for Columbus, and we were saying, hey, when they lost to Hitchcock in overtime, is this the moment when it spirals?
Yeah.
Is this the moment where you're not invincible anymore? You've gotten got by a very good Hitchcock team, by the way.
Very good Hitchcock team.
And they picked themselves up, they dusted themselves off, and they were untouchable from them. To me, that is what embodies this award, is that ability to take a punch and then be like, all right, we're good, and we're going to come back strong.
And that set them up to when they eventually beat Kilgore in the state championship, a team that a lot of people thought, hey, this team, can they hang with the physicality of Kilgore, right? And it turns out, yes, and then some. They set the physicality. They were faster, they were bigger, or actually they may not have been bigger, but they were faster, they executed the game plan a lot better, and it perfectly encapsulates what this award is and who it's named after in Gordon Wood.
Absolutely. The Gordon Wood Award winner for 2020 for the Columbus Cardinals. 3A Division I state champs, certainly well deserving of that. There's another very special award handed out to a Texas high school football coach. That goes the Tom Landry Award, which recognizes outstanding contributions to the game of Texas high school football. Award winners through their life and actions serve as positive role models for athletes. This is obviously about, you got to be a pretty good coach. You got to win some ball games. You got to know some ball in order to be eligible for this, but this is really about the man behind the coach, and there's few people I think are more deserving than this year's winner, Lee Wigginton, the head coach at Allen, who former Texas High School Coaches Association president, a guy who has done so much for the coaching profession, and oh yeah, by the way, he happens to be a certified ball network.
Yeah, there's the thing about Lee Wigginton is, let's be honest, the Allen coaching search was pretty publicized. A lot of names got thrown out. A lot of names were like, ooh, can they get this guy? And when they landed on Lee Wigginton, I don't think the casual fan saw this, because Allen's a national brand, right? Let's be honest. The casual fan saw that and they're like, that's okay, right? Like, you THSCA president, it makes sense. But when he took the step up, they were like, was this an environment that he was ready for, right? And I think that when the past couple years, he has been ready for this job, and it shows that ball knowledge travels, and ball pedigree travels, and coaching pedigree travels. You mentioned the THSCA president. He's a well-respected figure. And so even if you're saying, oh, can he handle Allen? The answer is yes, because of all of the things he's accomplished. And now, you mentioned it before we started recording as well, Allen's going to be a team to watch.
Yes.
Again, Allen may quote unquote be back this year.
Let me give you a spoiler for something that, because right now we're in the heart of laying out pages for the 2025 Summer Edition Dave Campbell's Texas Football. TexasFootball.com/subscribe. Get your magazine mailed to you. But we're going through the rankings. Allen will start the year ranked, and we last year we started in our rankings having one thing on the line on the bottom.
Yeah.
Like one line that kind of describes the team. And all I wrote for Allen was, they're back. Okay? Allen's going to be pretty good, and a big reason why is because of Lee Wigginton, who's doing, of course, outstanding work there. Of course, another of the reasons that we are here gathered, honoring some of the best and brightest in Texas high school football, is to honor the 2024 UIL Texas high school football state champions. Craig Way is up at the dais right now, getting everybody ready, basically allowing them to eat right now. But 12 of the men who are going to be eating here on this buffet line are
kind of in front of us right now.
12 UIL Texas high school football state champions who will be honored here tonight. We'll start with 6A Division 1, which is the North Crowley Panthers. And what a run it was for Ray Gates' ball club.
I mentioned Columbus pound for pound being probably one of the most dominant runs we've seen. This may be the most dominant team we saw in the state this year, regardless of classification, because they did it at the biggest level as well, and they kind of came out of nowhere. Not out of nowhere. They've been good for the past couple years, but as far as a dominant 6A team, they just wrecked everybody that we thought would be in their path.
And you want to talk about a signature win. When they beat Duncanville in that semifinal, it sure felt like Team of Destiny, freight train. Nobody's getting in front of those North Crowley Panthers. In 6A Division 2, we crowned for the very first time the Vipers of Vandegrift, who brought home their first ever state championship. Drew Sanders and company, what a remarkable run it was. After getting close a couple of times, this young program, Vandegrift, the only coach this program has ever had, or Drew Sanders is the only coach they've ever had. This program has been absolutely outstanding, and they finally get their just desserts, thanks in large part to quarterback Miles Todecki.
Miles Todecki and that great defense, right?
Yes.
Vandegrift's always been known for defense, and it was finally time. You mentioned Team of Destiny, right? It just all of a sudden you look to November and you're like, Vandegrift can win the state championship. And of course, a couple years ago was the DeSoto steamroll, that just, DeSoto back-to-back titles that ended up being. But this year felt like the right time, and they did it against a team like South Lake Carroll, prestige program. But that experience of the year before made, a couple years before, made the difference in this year.
The 5A Division 1 state champs, another team that I think came kind of surprised people getting their first state championship, Smithson Valley, the Rangers, after making it to the title game the year before and coming up short. Cade Spradley and company finally get that elusive state championship for the legendary Larry Hill.
I mean, one of the coaches that are in this state that was the one thing missing on his resume, right? You talk about this. Larry Hill maybe is going to be in this ceremony eventually, and this was the only mark missing on his resume. So for them to do it, another Team of Destiny, Cinderella story type of deal, incredible.
Yes, and Kate Spradling, Hudson Woods, that team was absolutely fantastic. Another first-time state champion. To 5A Division 2 we go, the Randall Lions out of Lamar Consolidated ISD. We are chatting up with Brian Randall, the head coach there, who the school is named after his father, and what a special year it was for this young program. A third-year varsity program runs to their first state championship.
Hello, Houston. You have a new powerhouse in the making. This may not be the first time in the next couple of years that they hoist this trophy, but they basically hit the ground running, and as you saw, it paid off with silverware.
Yes, absolutely. They are going to be dangerous as well with Landon Williams-Callis coming back for his junior year. To 4A Division 1 we go, and the Salina Bobcats, they would say they restored order and got things back after a long, by their standards, title drought, grabbing their first state championship since 2015. And what can you say about Bo Bentley and this squad? Luke Biagini, their outstanding linebacker, and Bill Elliott, a guy who understands this tradition and what it means to win at Salina.
Every year we look at Salina, and they're a physical team. They're a disciplined team. We know how Bill Elliott coaches. We know the prestige of Salina. Every year we're like, if they had a quarterback with upper echelon talent, this team would be unstoppable. What happens this year? They have a quarterback with upper echelon talent, who, by the way, went on to win MVP in the Navy All-American game as a junior. So, Bo Bentley, star player, Salina, watch out. Spoilers for the magazine, they're going to be good.
By the way, so we move on to 4A Division 2. We've talked about a lot of first-time state champions. Let's talk about the opposite. The Carthage Bulldogs. 10-time state champions, 10-0 in state championship games is Coach Scott Surratt. One for the thumb. He does it with his son, Jet Surratt, at the helm, and rinse and repeat. The Carthage machine rolls on.
It was a game that I was really much looking forward to, and it was a very physical game as we expected against Michael La Vega. But my goodness, every year just feels like there's a new star on that defense that comes out. This year was Carson Crawford, who's now going into his senior year as one of the top edge rushers in the state. And every year, just like, oh my God, how do they keep bringing in guys? Like, they always have a running back, they always have a linebacker, and it was another vintage Carthage performance.
In 3A Division 1, the aforementioned Columbus Cardinals, worth celebrating once again. They bring home their first state championship for Coach Matt Schobel, a guy who bleeds red there, Cardinal red. This program, long time coming for them, and a big celebration for the Schobel family and the entire community there in Columbus.
Yeah, once you mentioned, the only thing I have to add is you mentioned it, one of those unsung programs that you don't realize hadn't done it before.
Yeah, exactly.
Because the way they carried themselves, you just figured that was a team that had multiple, and they finally got it.
Speaking of multiple, to 3A Division 2, and now the three-time defending state champion, the Gunner Tigers, who get it done. Reloading, we wondered if they were going to be able to replace a quarterback like Walker Overman, who was so special. Preston Tarpley stepped in, but more importantly, the defense continued to be spectacular, pitching a shutout in the title game against Woodville.
People always talk about the offense, still one of my favorite offenses in the state, but you mentioned it, that defense just reloads every single year, and they're a buzzsaw. And even if you don't know a player on that team by name, by casual name, you just have to pencil them in as a contender because of what's been built there.
To 2A Division 1 we go, where the Ganado Indians bring home their first ever state championship. They had waited 100 years to be champions, and Josh Irvin, at the ripe age of 30, guides the Indians to a place they've never been before.
I mean, it's got to be one of the youngest head coaches in 11-man, definitely, to win a state championship. And that game, if we're talking game of the week, that was the game of the week. That was an incredible classic game. No matter what classification, if you're a fan of football, go back and watch that game, because that is all about two programs, and one eventually winning out, but two programs going to the death.
The only exception to that, and the only argument, might be the team that won the 2A Division 2 state championship, the Munster Hornets, who outlasted Shiner in a thriller. Coach Brady Carney guides his Hornets to a state championship with his son at the helm. Case and Carney, absolutely spectacular in that ball game, and a team worthy of winning their 2A Division 2 state title.
I believe it's their second in 5 years, 5 or 6 years, I believe. Munster's always one of those teams in 2A where you're just like, if they can just get, there's always one team that knocks them off, one team every year, and this year they were that team. So it was, like you mentioned, one of the other great, fantastic games of that state championship weekend.
Speaking of that team, 1A Division 1, no doubt about who was the team in 1A Division 1. The Gordon Longhorns go wire to wire, back to back as state champions. Rye Reed, Stryker Reed, the most dominant team, I think, in Texas high school football in 2024. And by the way, they're like all coming back next year.
All coming back, and shout out to our director of recruiting, Greg Powers, who named Stryker and Rye Reed the first ever 3-star recruits at the 6-man level. Those two are back, Stryker and Rye. Watch out.
Finally, we'll round it all out with the smallest UIL classification, the Jayton Jaybirds. And 1A Division 2, Coach Stanlin, Josh Stanlin, gets the Jaybirds back to where they believe they belong. One of the outstanding programs in all of 6-man football, brings home another state championship. Congratulations to the Stanlin family for getting that done. Sean Stanlin, a big part of that as well. So 6-man royalty there in Jayton.
Yeah, and they went on. I mean, they're also, it was funny because I've known them for basketball, covering basketball, and seeing Sean Stanlin winning MVP in basketball the year before, goes on to win football MVP, and I was like, yeah, this just makes sense. They're just an athletic program.
Those are the 12 UIL Texas High School Football State Champions who will be honored tonight at the 2025 Texas High School Football Hall of Fame induction ceremony presented by Texas Farm Bureau Insurance. We are getting you up to the top of the hour where Craig Way will take it over, but before we do that, we want to tell you about another fun thing that's going on here just outside these walls, the silent auction, raising money around here, and here to tell us more about it is our own Mallory Hartley. Hi, Mal.
Now, the Hall of Fame already outdid themselves this year, right? 600 people behind me, world-class food and desserts, and amazing people to accompany this amazing class. What if I told you there was another component to this ceremony? Would you believe me? It's awesome. It's a silent auction, and better yet, all the proceeds go to the Texas High School Football Sports Hall of Fame. And I'm actually holding an $1,000 item right here, if you can see it in the camera. It's a Texas Tech helmet, signed by none other than Patrick Mahomes, who's actually being inducted here in just a couple of minutes into the class of 2025 Texas High School Football Hall of Fame. And again, all of the proceeds from the silent auction go to the Texas Sports Hall of Fame. Guys, it's an incredible atmosphere here. We cannot wait to get to the ceremony here in just a couple of minutes. But first, here is a word from our friends at Texas Farm Bureau Insurance.
it is you wrangle, whatever seeds you sow, no matter what you nurture or what you choose to grow, at Texas Farm Bureau Insurance, we're proud to protect all Texans.
Back here at the Herd Center, here on the campus of Baylor here in Waco. Greg Tepper and Ishmael Johnson here getting you ready for the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame induction ceremony presented by Texas Farm Bureau Insurance. Coming up at the top of the hour, we're so pleased to bring it to you here on Dave Campbell's Texan Live. And if you're watching us for the first time, hi, we're a streaming company. We've got thousands of live events on TexanLive.com that you can get as part of your Dave Campbell's Texas football subscription. If you have never, go to TexasFootball.com/subscribe to become Dave Campbell's Texas football subscriber. Ishmael, there's probably a fair number of people who have never watched the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame induction ceremony, and that is great. What can they expect tonight when things get going at the top of the hour?
Yeah, well, first we should mention there is a QR code if you see it right at the top. There we go. Please donate to the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame because they're able to do these ceremonies, right? They're able to put on these events and really make this a moment to remember for all of these guys. Because we mentioned Patrick Mahomes, RG3, they've done a lot of these type of big ceremonies, but a lot of the guys that you mentioned, right? This is going to be the biggest honor of their lifetime, and that's what this moment and this night is about, really, is making sure that the legends of the game aren't forgotten, and that's what the Hall of Fame does in the end, is making sure that everybody has their moment, whether you go on to be an NFL Hall of Famer or not. If you made an impact in this sport, you will have your night and you will have a ceremony dedicated to you.
It's a remarkable night here in Waco. We're getting you ready for the top of the hour, the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame induction ceremony presented by Texas Farm Bureau Insurance. We are so pleased to bring it to you here on Dave Campbell's Texan Live. We've got thousands of live events on Texan Live all year long. Go to TexanLive.com to watch those. One of the guys who is intimately familiar with this is the man who's going to be at the helm tonight, himself a Texas High School Football Hall of Famer. We're pleased to be joined at the broadcast booth by the great Craig Way. Mr. Way, it's good to see you, my friend.
It's good to be with you, and I've long maintained that the only reason I am actually an inductee from the class of 2016 of the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame is because they needed somebody to MC the thing every year afterwards. So that's how it's worked out. I sing for my supper every year.
I was going to say, but you do get a good meal out of the deal.
That's right, absolutely. Got to thank George's for that. Yeah, a great place here in Waco.
And a nice jacket. This particular class, we've been talking a lot about it, a remarkable class. Obviously, there are the headliners here. People know Robert Griffin III, right, and Patrick Mahomes, Jeff Traylor. But I look up and down, and this class, I think, really represents what the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame is trying to accomplish.
I think so. If you never saw Gary Keithley play, YouTube the highlights or whatever, he was something else. Pat Thomas, for the greatness that Plano Senior High achieved, and it really started in 1965 when they won the 1A state championship, and then they won a 2A state championship. Can you believe it? Plano won a 2A state championship in 1967 over Universal City Randolph at I. Nelson Field in Austin.
At Nelson Field?
At Nelson Field.
That's incredible.
It was a gleaming shrine to football in those days.
Yeah.
And then in 1971, they won a 3A state title over Gregory Portland. Pat Thomas was the quarterback, defensive back. He did everything for that football team that won that state championship. Went on, had a fabulous career at Texas A&M, and was an outstanding defensive back in the NFL for the team I root for, the Rams. He was great, and so I got to see him play for them. But that's an example of what we're talking about how deep and how historic this class is.
Yeah, you mentioned Jeff Traylor, and of course, a lot of people know Jeff Traylor now at UTSA, but Curtis Barbay at Newton, right? He is one, of course, he's posthumously being inducted. A lot of his family's here. I believe all of his sons are coaches. I think 2 or 3 of his grandsons are coaches. But he's somebody who has such an impact at that Newton community. And as a community that, unfortunately, we saw something similar with W.T. Johnston, where a legendary coach led them to a title, and the story that they brought and the legacy that they brought. Can you talk a little bit about Curtis Barbay and what he kind of meant to East Texas? And I just realized 2 East Texas coaches going in in Barbay and Traylor.
Absolutely. And I think Coach Barbay was a guy who, I don't know if it's quite correct to say put Newton on the map, but he certainly did so from a football perspective starting in the 70s and the tremendous impact he made on the lives of his student athletes and the ones you just made a great point about who went on to become great coaches and learned from him, including within his own family as well. The dynastic tradition of Newton was begun by that man, and he was able to carry it forward from there. So that was great. We know about Jeff Traylor, and you know, you must be pretty good if you get a stadium named after you.
That's pretty good.
They
While you're still
changed
coaching,
the name of the stadium to put your name on it.
Yeah.
And he, more than a lot of other coaches, was able to bridge the gap and transition in and do it successessily in the field of college football coaches.
Yes.
That is not an easy thing to do. Ask Todd Dodge about it. He'll tell you about the challenge of trying to do it at the Division I college level.
Right.
And one thing Coach Traylor's done has been able to bridge that gap and to make that transition. He's done a fabulous job.
Yeah, and I must ask you, we would be remiss if we didn't talk about the two guys at the top of the ticket, I think, in Patrick Mahomes and Robert Griffin III. To me, I think this speaks to the roots and how deep they run in Texas high school football, that these two men who have so much going on and they don't need to be here. And yet you can tell for both of them, they made it a point to be here and to be honored by the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame.
And add one to that from a few years back, Matthew Stafford.
Absolutely.
You know, that sort of thing, because in all of those cases, Texas high school football meant an awful lot to their development and their careers.
Yes.
That I think is important to point out, and they have said that. Patrick has said that on numerous occasions, you know, after playing a big-time game for the Chiefs and made a high school football reference before. RG3 has done that, certainly, with what he did at Copperas Cove. And the other thing that's important to point out, these two guys were not only great high school football players, they were great high school athletes, multi-sport athletes overall. So a lot of their accomplishments were more than just football at the high school level before they took their talents to the next level and became tremendous college and pro players.
I believe RG3 won Gatorade for track, right?
Yes.
Gatorade Player of the Year.
He's Craig Way. We're going to toss it to him at the top of the hour, so we're going to let him save his voice. They had to move it to a bigger room because of you, I heard.
Yeah, it was too loud in the other place, so we had to
I love this building, I'll tell you that. It works out great. There's even room for you guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
Yeah, just a little bit. We were tucked away in a corner. Craig, appreciate you stopping by, my friend, and enjoy the ceremony.
Hey, it's my pleasure. Great to be here. Great to see all you guys. Looking forward to a big evening.
Absolutely. Thanks, Craig. There he goes. Craig Way, the Texas High School Football Hall of Famer, and the MC tonight of the 2025 Texas High School Football Hall of Fame induction ceremony presented by Texas Farm Bureau Insurance. Let's not waste any more time. Let's tell you a little bit about everyone who is going into the 2025 class of the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame, starting with from 1969 and before. Out of Alvin High School, a proud Alvin Yellow Jacket. Let's talk about Gary Keithley. Craig Way talked a little bit about him and what a star he was for Alvin, earning all-state honors as a senior, then went on to a fantastic college career and into the pro leagues as well. This is a guy who was in the Alvin ISD Athletic Hall of Fame, and a long time coming for Gary Keithley to go into the Texas High School Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he earned the nickname Mr. Do Everything, which, of course, in the 60s, if you're known as that, you're pretty good. But, of course, he went to Texas as one of the top, I believe also in our magazine, Texas Football at the time, one of the top quarterback recruits in Texas, went to the University of Texas, transferred to UTEP, became an All-American there, punted, kicked, I believe led the nation in multiple categories as a punter, kicker / quarterback. So, as you mentioned, back in those days, you did a lot of everything, and he was good at a lot of everything. So, like you mentioned, a long time coming for Gary Keithley.
Absolutely. You see him playing in the NFL and in the CFL. A legend of Texas high school football will be immortalized tonight. Gary Keithley from 1969 and before going in. From the 1970s, it is Pat Thomas out of Plano High School, coached by Tom Kimbrough, who was an outstanding player on that 1971 3A state championship team that beat Gregory Portland in a thriller, earned All-State, and was a 3-year All-District honor. And then, of course, went in, was a first-team All-Pro, playing in the NFL. This guy was an absolute monster there from his defensive back perspective, from his defensive back spot, and a deserving member of the Texas High School Hall of Fame.
When we were putting up a lot of the social posts for these guys, Pat Thomas was one of the ones that it was, this is my husband's coach from so-and-so. Like, he was the one that got the most engagement of, oh, he coached, because if you look at his extensive coaching career afterward, defensive backs coach, secondary with the Oilers, Colts in the 90s, Buffalo Bills in the early 2000s. He went on to coach at Galveston Ball from 2013 to 2018. So his hands are on so much more than just playing after he finished his playing career. And there were so many people that were just like, oh my God, Coach Thomas was my favorite coach at X or X, Y, whatever. And again, one of those guys that went on to make a big impact after he was done playing.
Pat Thomas going into the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame from the 1970s. If you didn't know, they induct one per decade. And from the 1980s, if you hear some gobbles around here, the Cuero Gobblers are rolling deep from DeWitt County from one of their legends. Of course, it probably helps that he's here at Baylor as well. And it is Brad Gable, who was an absolutely star there at Cuero there. He went 22-3, led them to a 3A state championship game in 1986 before going on and starring right here on campus in Waco.
I'm not joking. I mentioned the social post with Pat Thomas. Other than Mahomes and RG3, which is obvious, the most engaged posts that we saw were ones with Brad Gable.
Yes.
Cuero rallied around, Baylor rallied around all of the content that we put out for Brad Gable. They were like, oh my God, this is the best quarterback. RG3, no sir, it's Brad Gable. And as you see, he's just a beloved quarterback. He went undrafted, but he went on to play for the Eagles, the Browns, and the Jaguars in the NFL. And of course, Baylor Athletic Hall of Fame, and then Cuero High School Hall of Fame as well, right there with the other legend, Jordan Whittington, probably.
A couple years ago, I think when Jordan Whittington was playing, I described Cuero as a town full of crazy people.
Yeah.
And they took it as the compliment that I meant it, and I'm glad, because they will be rolling deep here for Brad Gable.
Brad Gable will have people in his corner forever.
Oh, absolutely. By the way, didn't have to change his wardrobe when he went from Cuero to Baylor.
That's a good point,
which was nice.
Or the Eagles.
Or the Eagles, absolutely. But the guy was, he was smart.
He loved green, yeah.
Buy one jacket. We go to round out the century and go to the 1990s and talk about John C. Norman out of Midland Lee High School. And one of the most impactful defensive players in Texas high school football history from 94 to 96, an absolute monster. Roving out there on the Permian Basin, including, he set a Texas high school record with an 101-yard interception return against Abilene Cooper. He was a Texas football super teamer.
Yep.
He was an absolute legend out there. A guy who, I always think about this in the 1990s. This was the time right before the internet where you would still have these legends, and you would have people in Dallas and in Houston say, hey, have you seen this guy that Midland Lee's got?
Yeah, he's basically, him, Cedric Benson a couple years later after that at Midland Lee. This is peak Midland Lee, right? This is peak Roy Williams here. This is peak Midland Lee era, Odessa Permian, West Texas ruling football at this point. And John C. Norman was that guy for them. 11 interceptions as a junior in 1995. And I believe he also had 449 yards on offense. Again, he just became one of the best defensive backs in the country. Went on to play for Texas Tech. True West Texas guy through and through.
Think about Midland Lee.
Yeah.
Get my microphone. Think about Midland Lee and the run they had in the 90s, where they go from having John Norman on their defense, and then they go to having Cedric Benson in their backfield.
Yeah. Roy Williams and Cedric Benson.
Pretty good run there for Midland Lee.
It's crazy.
And they are getting another one in the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame tonight. We are getting you up to the top of the hour here at the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame induction ceremony presented by Texas Farm Bureau Insurance, where we will hand it off to the Master of Ceremonies himself, Craig Way, to induct these outstanding men who are being honored here with one of the great honors in Texas high school football. I want to invite you to go to texasfootball.com/subscribe to become Dave Campbell's Texas Football subscriber. The reason we look tired is because we're working on the 2025 summer edition of Dave Campbell's Texas Football. You can get that magazine mailed to you directly, right to you. I'm going to write your name on it, okay? Not really, but please go to texasfootball.com/subscribe. Makes great gifts as well. Tomorrow, look at me. Tomorrow's Mother's Day. Don't screw this up. Go to texasfootball.com/subscribe to get it for there. Let's now kind of matriculate and go to another award, and it's one that's very near and dear to our heart, which is the Dave Campbell Contributor to the Game Award. This is, of course, you're going to see a lot of coaches and players going to the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame tonight, but one of the gentlemen who is going in is the Dave Campbell Contributor to the Game Award recipient, David Smoke, who has been a media mainstay in Texas high school football for years and years and years. Started covering as a television reporter in Lufkin in 1981. He is a Texas high school football encyclopedia, a guy who I know we can get, if I've got a question, I can call him. Now he hosts 365 Sports, a college football-centric podcast on the Rogue Sports Network with his son, Craig Smoke, and his longtime co-host, Paul Catalina. Absolutely well-deserving is David Smoke, a guy that we've known for a long, long time.
Yeah, it was really cool to see David's name come up. Smokey, as people know him around this area. And, I mean, if you're from Baylor, if you're from Waco, if you're from this region, Central Texas, or East Texas as well, he's a Tyler guy. You've heard David Smoke on the radio, on his broadcast, on his streams, whatever. It's really cool to see him get recognized for the long extensive career he's put in for high school football.
The great David Smoke, Smokey, getting into the Texas High School Hall of Fame. Another gentleman going in as part of the the Eddie Joseph Texas High School Football Hall of Fame coach is Jeff Traylor, the head coach of the UTSA Roadrunners, but real ball knowers know him as a Gilmer Buckeye, and we are pleased to be joined at our broadcast location by the, I guess, still future Texas High School Hall of Famer, the great
for a couple
Jeff
more
Traylor.
minutes.
Yeah. Coach, first and foremost, congratulations. I don't even need to ask what this means to you.
Yeah, it's as cool as it gets. I mean, when you grow up in Gilmer, I mean, this. You know, you come down here, you come and look at this place, and you want to be in this one day, and like this will be the greatest honor I'll ever receive. Now, Patrick Mahomes is going to get to go to the Hall of Fame, but when you grow up in Gilmer, this is the Hall of Fame.
Coach, your legacy at Gilmer is, stadium now the Hall of Fame. Like, looking back at your career when you started as a coach, right? You mentioned everybody dreams of stuff like this, but like thinking about what young Jeff Traylor, what would you say to young Jeff Traylor now sitting in this seat in the highest honor that you could receive at this level?
Yeah, I've got proof. Like when I was in the 9th grade, my parents all I ever wanted to do was coach. All I ever wanted to do was grow up and be the head coach at Gilmer, Texas. I was never going to leave. I was that small. And, and every parent, doesn't want their children to ever say that.
Yeah.
So they sent me to Europe for like 2 weeks with the Rotary Club to let me see the world.
Yeah.
And I came back more sure than ever I was never leaving Gilmer again. I remember when that plane landed, I'd never flown before.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it took that long to get from the sky back down to the ground. I said, I'm never doing any of that again. And then in my annual, I wrote, where it says, where are you going to be in 10 years? I wrote in there, I'm going to be the head coach of the Gilmer Buckeyes. So that's all I ever wanted to do. That's it.
Yeah.
You are now, I think people around the nation know you as the head coach of the UTSA Roadrunners now. You've kind of grown a little bit outside of East Texas, just a little bit. And yet, I'm curious how that time in Gilmer prepared you for what you're doing now, coaching one of the finest programs in college football.
It's all the same. It's all the same. And both jobs were kind of starter-up jobs. Obviously, the Gilmer people know now, 25 years later, was not the one I inherited. I got the job probably because not many other ones really wanted it. It was in a bad state of mind back in that time. Well, the UTSA job, it's kind of a starter-up job. We've only been playing football 14 years.
Sure. I'm
going on year 6. I'm the longest tenured coach in the history of the school. And we're one of the newer schools still playing ball. So a lot of similarities. It's still about people earning their trust. And once people, you love them and you can make them better, they'll go to their pocketbooks, they'll play harder, they'll buy tickets. If you love people and you can make them better, people will do a lot for you.
A lot of people credit you with kind of becoming the successful story of the high school coach making the transition. What is it about starting as a high school coach that made you ready eventually? Obviously, you went through as an assistant through college, but eventually ready to take on that same job at the college level?
It's still about the kids. It really is. And when you're a high school football coach, some years you got Luke Turner who can run over everybody and run around them. Some years you've got Manuel Johnson who's skinnier but fast, has an unbelievable arm. Some years you've got Stump Godfrey who's a bulldozer. Some years you've got Jordan Traylor who's a drop back passer. You're always finding a way to get your kids in their sweet spot, and you're trying to get them out of where they're not as good, just like all great leaders do in high school coaching. And understand, when you win one state championship at Gilmer, they want to win every single year. So people talk about Joey being under pressure at Texas Tech or Jeff being under pressure at UTSA. There's no more pressure in Lubbock than there was at Cedar Hill, and there's no more pressure in San Antonio than there was in Gilmer. That booster club in Cedar Hill on Joey and my booster club in Gilmer is just as ferocious as the one in San Antonio and Lubbock.
I have to ask you, while we've got you, we're looking forward to the 2025 season, these UTSA Roadrunners. What has you excited about this crop of Roadrunners in 25?
My quarterback coming back. I mean, getting him back was huge. All my tight ends back, all the receivers back, our whole O-line's back, minus the center. And we lost one running back, but other than that, all of them are back. Our defense, we lost everybody. We got to go reload on that side of the ball, but we really feel good about how we recruited and coached. And I think Owen McCallum's the real deal. And I saw him grow from games 6 to 7, like I saw Frank Harris grow from year 1 to year 2. He just looked way different the last 7 games of the year.
All right, and finally, I do have to ask you, Ishmael was here yesterday, and he was counting tables. How many tables of people do you have here?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I'm nervous. I've never been this nervous. I've got to name 59 people in 3 minutes in a 35-year career. And you know me, I'm going to cry 10 times. Does crying count in the second count? Or, I mean, are they going to pause for my tears? I'm in trouble, Brother Greg.
He's Jeff Traylor. In about, let's say, an hour, he's going to be Texas High School Football Hall of Famer. Coach, congratulations. We know how this is a long time coming in our perspective, but we also know how much this means to you.
My DFO and general manager were giving me the rundown on all of y'all who I was fixing to be interviewed by, and like I didn't know. I'm like, look, I've known those people longer than anybody in this room. You don't need to introduce any of them to me.
Right there.
Yeah, we've met.
we know each other well.
Absolutely.
God bless. Birds up.
Appreciate you, Coach. There he goes, Jeff Traylor, head coach of the UTSA Roadrunners, but as, again, real ball knowers know, that's a Gilmer Buckeye right there, leading them to glory.
By the way, we should mention, he was also on the sidelines of the Gilmer State Championship, just representing the Buckeyes.
He was the like that obviously, if you think back to that state championship game that they won, which was remarkable, there was a huge crowd of very excited people from Upshur County.
Yes.
There was nobody living and dying with every play like Jeff Traylor. That's the most stressed out I've ever seen.
I was about to say, he's played in conference championships, and he was like, I hope we get the next one. I hope we get this title, man.
Yeah, this was it. But well-deserving. I think all of us know what he did at Gilmer. Spectacular stuff there. And going in as the Eddie Joseph Texas High School coach in the 2025 class of the Texas High School Hall of Fame. Also going in posthumously, is Curtis Barbe. Out of Newton High School, another East Texas guy, kind of Southeast Texas, if you want to call it that, but a guy who helped to put the Newton Eagles on the map. 317 wins over 36 seasons as the head coach at Newton, and that is not just longevity; that is excellence as well. And this was a guy who I think made that. They talk about making that bold move to Newton. And then 42 years later, he was legend there, and he was a spectacular coach, being inducted posthumously by his family, but long overdue for Curtis Barbe to be honored in the Texas High School Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I mentioned with Craig Way, all of his coaches, all of his sons, all coaches now. He mentioned started Newton as the power that we know. Third, you mentioned it. He was a lifer. 1975, he went to prior to being named head coach, but he was there the whole time. He didn't coach anywhere else. I believe in the program they mentioned he told his wife he'd be there for 1 year.
And suddenly he ends up retiring there. The great Curtis Barbe going to the Texas High School Hall of Fame. Also going in, a young man you may have heard of, and a former Dave Campbell's Texas football Winter Edition cover boy, former Heisman Trophy winner and Copperas Cove Bulldog, Robert Griffin III. RG3 going to the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame, and a spectacular player is Robert Griffin III. Of course, his exploits winning him the Heisman Trophy here on campus in Waco.
A lot can be said about RG3, but I think the fact that we have this building, that stadium, is a credit to what RG3 did on the football field. And he mentioned, Craig Way as well, Gatorade Track Player of the Year in high school, right? This is a multi-talented generational level of an athlete that ended up changing the town of Waco and the University of Baylor.
Led him to a pair of state championship games in 2006 and 2007. His reward is he got to talk with our Mallory Hartley earlier.
Mallory Hartley, Dave Campbell's Texas football, standing here with former Copperas Cove quarterback Robert Griffin III. Okay, first, when's the last time you've been introduced as that?
Oh, wow. It's been a long time since it has to be 13, 14 years at least.
And you are the newest inductee in the class of 2025 in the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame. When you got that call, what was your initial reaction?
Initial reaction was just, thankfulness. When you look back at high school, it's just like any level of football or any level of sports. It's not about you. So it's about the sacrifices that my family made, my teammates made. That's why I have this helmet. It's my high school helmet. We still got the helmet stickers on. I don't even know if they do helmet stickers anymore. But just really reflecting back on those moments as a high school football player, especially being here in Texas. We've said it time and time again today. It's just a different feeling. The best athletes in the country come from Texas, and our fans are the best.
Well, being inducted right down the road from your alma mater, Baylor, right? Where you left a legacy and you won the Heisman there. I mean, what does that mean to you?
No, it means everything. This is, an opportunity to not only be in the Texas Sports Hall of Fame, but also in the Texas High School Sports Hall of Fame. We're not like, we're literally across the road, not even down the street from where I was able to make a mark here at Baylor University. But again, I always say we won the Heisman because the Heisman is a team award. My greatest moment in college wasn't even winning the Heisman. It was coming back and playing in the bowl game and winning our first bowl game in 16 years. So you start to reflect back on all these memories. And I sound like I'm 50, but I'm only 35. But I've enjoyed the process of just being able to celebrate this with my friends and family.
Well, and throwing it back to your Copperas Cove days, right? You were a two-time state finalist, right?
Just had to bring that up. Huh?
I know, I have to. But you broke numerous track records too, and you were the class president. That's pretty cool. Talk about what it feels like to be inducted and representing the Copperas community in such a fantastic way.
No, I thank you for saying that. For me, it was watching a guy like Charles Tillman, Peanut, who played for the Chicago Bears, come back to the community of Copperas Cove. I was an 8th grader, I believe, at SC Lee Junior High School, and we were playing basketball, and this big black guy with dreads walks in the gym, and I'm like, who is that guy? And everyone kind of explained to me his significance and how he was able to make it out. And I know, listen, I grew up in Copperas Cove. My family's from New Orleans. I lived for a year in the Iberville Projects. And in that community, making it out was everything. For me to be able to make it out of Copperas Cove and show the kids there that you can be from a small town in Texas, you can go to the highest levels, you can win a Heisman Trophy, you can be NFL Rookie of the Year. I thought that meant everything for the kids that are growing up, and I still have that same love for Copperas Cove. I know it's not a destination town, okay?
It could be.
It could be. Well, we got a street and everything now, but it was something that I hold near and dear to my heart.
And we're actually standing here doing this interview in the Dave Campbell Memorial Hall, and you were on the cover of the 2012 Winter Edition. You want to hold that up there? And that's pretty cool. So talk to me a little bit about the impact that Dave Campbell, his legacy left in the Texas high school football community. I remember that shout out that you gave to him when he passed away a couple of years ago on your broadcast.
No, it's Dave Campbell's and Texas football are synonymous. I know when I was coming out my junior year of high school, they had me as the backup quarterback, Copperas Cove, but, didn't hold that against him. I have not forgotten, but the way that when you see your name pop up in the book, it was something that was the talk of all the locker rooms, knowing that, hey, maybe they got your scouting report right, or maybe you was a little fuel to the fire so you could be ranked higher than this guy or the next. But everybody always had an immense amount of respect for Dave Campbell and what he's been able to, really showcase Texas football in the proper light. They always say if you build it, they'll come. He built this magazine. He built this way of talking about Texas high school football that I think made it bigger and grander. And has given all of us an appreciation for what the sport is.
Absolutely. Well, we appreciate your time, and congratulations again on such a huge honor.
There he goes, Robert Griffin III, the inductee here in the class of 2025 in the Texas Football Hall of Fame. Well-deserved. Obviously, he went on to greater things than what he did at Copperas Cove, but, of course, those 2 state championship appearances live forever in a town like Cove.
I mentioned it. I mean, the fact that he won Gatorade Player of the Year not for football just shows how incredible of an athlete. Year-round, his name was just synonymous with Texas high school athletes, and he kind of is the quintessential Texas high school athletes as being the best at what he did in multiple areas.
Finally, the final inductee in the 2025 class at Texas High School Football Hall of Fame, a young man from East Texas. Don't really know what happened to him, but Patrick Mahomes II. out of White House High School, going into the 2025 class of Texas High School Football Hall of Fame. And what more can you say about the guy who went on to be NFL MVP, All-Pro, 6 Pro Bowls, 3 Super Bowl MVPs? I mean, quite frankly, one of the finest players in NFL history, and all started in White House.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the legend status of like, hey, did you hear about this guy, Pat Thomas? Patrick Mahomes is like the last of that, where you're like, if you covered East Texas at the time, you're like, guys, this guy Patrick Mahomes is a 3-star going to Tech. He has the best arm I've ever seen. And now it's now looked back on as like a badge of honor if you saw Patrick Mahomes at White House put up 600 yards against Carthage, right? Like it's just like programs that you just see like, oh yeah, that's a legend now. Oh yeah, Patrick Mahomes threw for 400 against him. It's just one of those things that doesn't happen today. You don't hear about these kind of guys who fall under the radar, quote unquote, under the radar, and then become the biggest thing in sports.
2-time NFL MVP Patrick Mahomes stopped by to talk with our MVP, Mallory Hartley.
Mallory Hartley, Dave Campbell's Texas Football, standing here alongside former White House quarterback Patrick Mahomes. Now, I asked Robert Griffin III the same thing. When's the last time that you were introduced as former White House quarterback?
No, it had to be a while, like maybe my first year of college. Yeah, it's been a while, but it's always great to hear because that's where it all started and why I'm here today.
Tell me your initial reaction when you first got the call saying that, hey, you were going to be a part of the 2025 class Texas High School Football Hall of Fame.
No, I was extremely honored. I mean, Texas high school football means so much to me. I talk about it and brag about it in the locker room every single day. And so to get this honor, this prestigious honor, it means a ton to me because it shows that all the hard work that I put in high school, junior high, whatever it is, it paid off.
Well, let's throw it back to your White House days, right? You threw for nearly 5,000 yards and 50 touchdowns in your senior year. You won the Max Preps Player of the Year. Talk to me a little bit about what this means to you to be able to represent the White House community in such a big way out in Beast, Texas.
Yeah, Beast, Texas, exactly. It was a special time. I mean, I talked about it a little bit earlier, but all those guys that I played with are all my teammates, and they're all my best friends these days too. And so to grow up with those guys, bring a district championship back to White House, those are memories I'll have for the rest of my life. And I'm glad that we can talk about them now because we did finally get that district championship my senior year.
I love it. I remember that. So Texas high school football, obviously king. You know that. How do you think your time playing at the Texas high school football level has developed you into the player and the athlete that you've become today?
Yeah, I think it showed you what hard work was. When you play Texas high school football, it starts in 6th, 7th grade. Where you're going to these camps and you're preparing to be that starting quarterback your senior year, junior year of high school, and it doesn't come easy. And so whenever you get to college, it's the same way. And I was prepared for that. I was prepared for the work ethic and the accountability that you have to have, and that's kind of just jumpstart my entire career.
Well, and we're standing here in the Dave Campbell's Memorial Hall, right? He's right there behind us. And you were actually on the cover of the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Summer Edition in 2016. Roll that up right there.
Love it.
I love it. Talk to me a little bit about the impact that Mr. Dave Campbell has made in the Texas high school football community.
Yeah, I mean, he made Texas high school football even bigger than what it was. And everybody knew about the communities. There was movies about it, but no one could really put it all together. And Dave Campbell did that with his magazines, and I was honored to be on the cover of this with Coach Kingsbury. And I still, to this day, I have a guy that runs our media in Kansas City, and he brings me the magazine every single year and hands it to me and tells me all about the White House Wildcats and what we're going to do this year. And so it is truly an honor to be on the cover of this magazine and to be here, standing here today.
We'll make sure to send you an advance copy of it this year.
I appreciate it.
Well, and finally, your whole family's here, right? Mm-hmm. What does it mean to you to be inducted alongside your entire family, especially your wife, Brittany, who's over here, who was at White House with you and has been through this journey with you?
Yeah, it was really cool when you see the kind of display, and it's a picture of me and Brittany in high school. She's cheerleading, I'm playing quarterback, and that was the dream when I was then, and we're living out the dream now. So to have my entire family here, mom, dad, and everybody that supported me the whole way, it's special because this is what I wanted. This is where I wanted to be at, and we're living out that dream in real time.
Well, thanks so much for the time, and congratulations on such a big honor. Go enjoy it.
Thank you.
There is Patrick Mahomes, quarterback of the Kansas City Chiefs, 2-time NFL MVP, 3-time Super Bowl MVP, and apparently Dave Campbell's Texas football reader.
Listen.
Good to know. Thanks, man.
I was about to say, it paid off putting him on the cover a while back. I will say, look, here's the thing. I'm going to give you credit for that. Not everybody who can put a Texas Tech quarterback on there is going to be like, all right, Coach. Oh, yeah, that was a smart move. like a Texas quarterback, probably a good bet. A&M quarterback, probably a good bet. Mahomes ended up being your best call. I got to give you credit for that.
Of course, he's going to the 2025 Texas High School Football Hall of Fame tonight. Here at the Hurt Center in Waco, we are so pleased to be presenting you the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame induction ceremony presented by Texas Farm Bureau Insurance. Let's toss it over to our Master of Ceremonies, Craig Way.
Hall of Fame banquet. We need to thank a lot of folks. First of all, the sponsor of the banquet is our friends from Texas Farm Bureau Insurance. You know, successful high school athletic programs really are a rewarding experience, not only for the athletes and the staff, but also the families, the school system, and the entire community. And Texas Farm Bureau Insurance has been serving the needs of Texas families for more than 50 years and proudly supports you, your family, and your community involvement in these programs, building its companies on the principles of hard work, dedication, loyalty, and integrity. Texas Farm Bureau Insurance acknowledges the same qualities in the state championship coaches and the Hall of Fame inductees being recognized tonight. They congratulate each and every one of you. Once again, we want to welcome everyone joining us here tonight, but thank you to Texas Farm Bureau Insurance. For those of you who are viewing it via the live stream from Texan Live, we're glad to have you with us alongside as well. We want to start off with some very special awards. And there is a special award, and the very name of it evokes how important this honor is. It's the Gordon Wood Award. Of course, Gordon Wood, the iconic, legendary head football coach at Brownwood and also at Stanford and Victoria, and all of the years that he achieved greatness. Each year, the Gordon Wood Award is presented to an especially noteworthy high school football team that displayed good sportsmanship, the ability to overcome challenges, had the support of its community, and achieved the success on the field. The award named for Gordon Wood, who won 9 state championships during his career, 2 at Stanford, 7 at Brownwood, and each team that is selected every year in consultation, these teams are selected with members of the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame Board. And this year's, one of these qualifications was fulfilled by a team who did achieve it all last year, the Columbus Cardinals. Now, when Dave Campbell's Texas Football Magazine arrived in the mailboxes last summer, the Columbus Cardinals were ranked number 2 in Class 3A Division I. They had 7 returning starters on offense. They had 8 on defense. Expectations very, very high. Columbus had talent, experience, and a hunger to bring home the school's first state title. But they had to deal with several things, beginning with tragedy in October. Senior lineman Alex Medrano went home sick one Friday and just days later passed away. Heartbreaking loss for the team, the school, and the entire community. Head coach Matt Schobel, whose son was Alex's teammate and classmate, said it was the hardest thing he's ever experienced. Even through her grief, Alex's mom, Dawn, encouraged the team to keep going, to keep playing, keep fighting, and to win for the memory of her son. That became the rallying cry. From that moment forward, Columbus played with an even deeper purpose. They lost just once, an overtime game against a top-ranked district rival. Every other win came by at least 2 touchdowns. In the regional final, they beat Powerhouse Franklin 62-42, the same number Alex wore on his jersey. Then they rolled through Edna 49-6 to earn a shot at the state championship. At AT&T Stadium in Arlington, they faced preseason number 1 Malakoff and delivered the game of their lives. Grayson Rigdon rushed for 4 touchdowns. Quarterback Adam Schobel threw for 261 yards and 2 scores. Defensive end John Schobel had 3 sacks. The Cardinals won 48-14 and captured the school's first ever state football championship. Soon the team will present a championship ring to the Medrano family, a tribute to the teammate who inspired them all. For their strength, their resilience, and their unity in the face of tragedy, we're proud to present the 2024 Gordon Wood Award to the Columbus Cardinals. This year's award is proudly sponsored by Underwood's Barbecue. And to present this year's trophy, we please welcome the Assistant Executive Director of the Texas High School Coaches Association, Glenn West, who played on Brownwood's 1978 state championship team for Coach Wood. So please now join me in congratulating the winner of the 2024 Gordon Wood Award, the Columbus Cardinals head coach Matt Schobel.
Thank you. I'd like to begin by thanking the Texas Sports Hall of Fame Board for selecting the Columbus Cardinals as the recipient of the 2024 Gordon Wood Award. This award represents the countless hours of hard work and unwavering dedication from a truly special group of coaches, coaching staff, athletic trainers, student trainers, players, and the entire Columbus community. With great pride and deep appreciation, I accept this honor, and I'm privileged to represent them. The 2024 season was filled with incredible achievements and unforgettable moments. Along the way, they faced adversity, from injuries and setbacks to unimaginable heartbreak. It is still just as hard today as it was in early October to process the pain and confusion our team, our school, and our community felt after the tragic loss of Alex. And yet, in the face of the sorrow, they pushed forward with strength, with purpose, and with heart, not just for themselves, but in honor of Alex. We proudly celebrate what they accomplished on the field, winning the historic 2024 Class 3A Division I state championship. But just as importantly, we celebrate how they carried themselves every step of the way, both on and off the field, with integrity, class, and true sportsmanship. We accept this honor with pride and with deep appreciation. Thank you.
Our next presentation is the Tom Landry Award. Now, that is given annually to a Texas high school coach who has made outstanding contributions to the game of football and whose life and actions have provided a positive influence for athletes and who is a credit to the coaching profession. Here to present the Tom Landry Award, the Executive Director of the Texas High School Coaches Association and a 2021 Texas High School Football Hall of Fame inductee. Please welcome Executive Director Joe Martin.
Thanks, Craig. On behalf of the Texas High School Coaches Association President John Snelson, our board of directors, our 27,000 plus members, I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate the Hall of Fame inductees, our state champions and award winners tonight. Your impact on Texas high school football has been fabulous. You made a huge impact in this state and Texas high school football during your career. And we ask that you continue to be an advocate for high school football in this state so we can keep it the best in the nation. We need your voice heard across not only the state but the nation about maintaining high school football in this state as education-based and community-based athletics as you enjoyed it, as you played it, and as you're coaching it today. So thank you very much and congratulations to you guys. The Texas High School Coaches Association established the Tom Landry Award in 1990 to publicly honor a coach that exemplified Coach Landry's characteristics. A coach of high moral character that has served as a mentor and a role model for coaches and kids, that's been in the coaching profession for over 20 years and have made a contribution, a significant contribution to the game of football. The 8 THSCA regions select their finalists during our regional meeting in February, and then our board of directors vote on the annual recipient at our spring board meeting, which was held last month. Coach Charlie Johnson of Childress High School back in 1990 was the first recipient, and we've named 35 coaches since. THSCA is extremely proud of the previous recipients as they truly represent the criteria that this award is based on, as these coaches are the epitome of Texas high school football coaches represent. Coach Lee Wigington is a perfect fit for this award. He represents this award just as the previous recipients do. Lee's been coaching for 32 years. The last 3 years as the head coach at Allen High School, and he has a very unique legacy coaching high school football in this state. So he's coached at every level. He coached in the smallest 11-man division when it was 1A at Bosqueville in 2000, where they qualified for the first playoff appearance, school history, and advanced into the quarterfinals. He then went to 2A Comfort for 4 seasons, had a semifinal appearance in 2005. Moved on to 3A Mahia for 2 years and 2 by-district championships. From Mahia, he went to 5A Midlothian. In 2010, he was there for 5 years, took them to the playoffs for the first time in several years. And then in 2015, he opened up 4A Midlothian Heritage, winning 3 district championships, a trip to the quarterfinals, the deepest run in 99-year history of Midlothian ISD. He now coaches in the largest high school in the state of Texas. In 2022, he became the head coach at Allen High School, which actually is the largest high school in America, and he's finished back-to-back appearances in the quarterfinals this last year, 13-1 record in 2024. Lee's coached from 1A to 6A. Very few people in this state can say that. The Texas High School Coaches Association, our coaching profession, Texas high school football are all better today because Coach Lee Wigington has been involved with us in it for 30 years. Please join me in congratulating the 2025 Texas High School Coaches Association Tom Landry Award winner from Allen High School, Coach Lee Wigington.
Wow. What a great event. You know, I've been to 4 or 5 of these, and this has to be the most that's ever been here, certainly that I've seen. And what a great class. You know, it's for a kid who grew up and just a fan of this game and all you guys, it's just overwhelming to me. Before I get started, I have to say this, and I'm going to go fast, but I was at Comfort, and Coach Martin described, we went to the semifinals, and we played on a Friday night, the game before the semifinals. The game that we were going to play, they finished on a Thursday night. Newton had won, and we finished playing, and I'm like, okay, we won, which was a big upset, and I'm thinking, this is going to be such a treat. I get to meet Coach Barbet. It's going to be so cool. And I go down there, and a few of his coaches are there, and they say, well, where are we going to play? And I said, well, I'd love to meet Coach Barbet and talk to him. He said, well, he's not here. And I said, okay, could we get him on the phone? And he said, sure. So called him on the phone, and we talked and got a place to play. And then I said, hey, I really need your advice on film exchange. You know what? This is kind of what we do. He said, oh, I know what you do. I don't know. Jasper's similar to you. They're a lot better than you, so that film won't do you much good. And he named 2 or 3 others, and he said, Coach, I really don't know. I really don't know what'll do you good. He said, we won it a couple years ago. We're a lot better now. And he said, I'll tell you what, just tell me what you're going to do offensively, and I'll tell you what we'll do defensively against you. So I'm like, what? So I start telling him, and he's like, okay, well, this is how we're going to defend you. This is what we'll do. What do y'all run defensively? And I told him, he said, okay, well, this is what we do. Against that style defense, we're going to attack you here. And I'm like, this guy thinks I don't know anything. We go in the game exactly that, and everything they wanted to do, they did at will. But it was the most enjoyable experience I've had on the phone. So such an honor to be here on a night like that. And then heroes of mine that I've been beaten badly by, sitting so close, is giving me the weebie-jeebies. Coach Traylor, I love you. You know I love you. But man, just so many great people. But what a shocking, humbling, and incredible honor it is to receive such prestigious recognition. The Tom Landry Award is one of longevity, which what that means is there's been a lot of athletes, a lot of coaches, a lot of parents, my family who put up with my madness and insanity for such a long time, and I'm so appreciative for you for that. Thank you for not kicking me to the curb a long time ago. To my daughter who will be graduating this year, actually the job that I'm at now, spoke a long time to Coach Traylor about that job. My daughter was going to be a sophomore, and it was a tough transition about what to do. And to be quite honest, words that he told me had me turn the job down. He told me that his daughter, they left a place that he'd been in a very long time, and they went over here to Austin and been there. And he said she cried herself to sleep for about 6 months, but then after that, it was the best thing that ever happened to her life. Her best friends, all this stuff. And I went to bed and got a call from Al, and they said, "Are you still interested?" And I said, "Yes." They said, "Okay." And I told my wife, I said, "I bet something's about to happen," because they asked if I'm still interested. I went to bed that night, woke up the next morning and said, "I'm out." They called, and I said, "I'm sorry, I can't do it." And it was because I said, I can't have my daughter cry herself to sleep for 6 months. Well, I had a little program, and then Coach Traylor's calling me on the phone, and all these other people, and next thing you know, I'm there, and it's been the best thing that's happened to us. But there's just so many ties in my life that are here. And my daughter, that daughter is graduating from Allen, will be going to school at Tennessee, and it will be hard looking in the stands, not seeing her smile before the games and hugging her after the games. My son plays football at Texas Tech and writing some Texas country and singing some Texas country music. I'm so proud of you, proud of the way that you live your life, that you represent Texas Tech football and the university, and the way that you represent our family. I love you so much, Hayden. I'm in awe of the fact that not only I talked about all those parents and staff that worked with us, but you had to be a coach's son and put up with me on the field and then also at home, and don't know how you did that. My beautiful wife, Becky, thank you for allowing me to chase this passion, chase this dream, and thank you for loving our staffs, for loving our kids, for loving our communities, for raising our children. I thank you for being my best friend. I love you so deeply, so thank you. The greatest impact on my life as a coach has been my dad. He passed away my first year in Allen. Just everything that I'm about in this world is because of him, and I know that he is smiling down on us. I know he's so incredibly proud. One of the first things really cool in my life, Coach Martin called, and I hung up the phone, and I'm like, man, how exciting. And it's one of the first times I wasn't able to call Dad immediately and say, hey, Dad, this is really cool, but I know he is on the phone with us, Coach. Again, I love you, Dad, and I'll see you soon. To my mom, thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for always loving, supporting, guiding, being at everything I've done from a toddler through football games today. Love you so much. And to our coaches who I've coached with who are in the room, Jared Rye and Jimmy Spradley and so many others. Thank you guys for making me a better coach, making me a better man, a better dad, and I want to be more like you guys every day. Y'all are family, and thank you for being here. To the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame, thank you for this evening. To THSCA, our board of directors, presidents, Coach Snelson, who an absolute legend, one of my all-time heroes. Thank you to you guys, and to Glenn West and Joe Martin. Thank you for making this award and recognition possible. You guys that I know if you're in this room, you know Joe and Glenn, but their vision, their determination, passion to make this game, make this state, make everything about Texas high school football the best in the world. It's not just something they talk about. It's not just something they do. It's something they live and they bleed it, and it pours out of our pores. And I'm so humbled to be around you every time I'm around you, Coach Martin, and you, Coach West. So thank you for your leadership, and most importantly, your friendship. Tom Landry is the standard of all coaching. He left such an incredible legacy to the game of football, to the state of Texas, and to the coaching profession. 25 years of coaching character and winning championships. He made so many of us in this room fall in love with football, fall in love with the Dallas Cowboys, fall in love with Tom Landry himself. So many amazing coaches and men and great friends have won this award since '91. I have to believe, however, that when THSCA created the award and said we're going to name an award after Tom Landry, I have to think that they were thinking about Randy Allen, last year's recipient of this reward. I mean, the absolute Tom Landry of Texas high school football. But there's so many, Ron Riss, so many of you guys out there that, man, you know how much I've looked up to each and every one of you and want to be like y'all. So, as Coach said, I've been at classification in every classification, or head coach in every classification, every school, and the only thing that's different is the number of kids you have. You know, and ultimately when I went from crying and saying I can't go do this Allen thing to where went and did it, it got down to it's just more kids and more opportunities to affect lives. You know, because it doesn't matter if I was right up the road here at Bosqueville or Comfort or Mahia or Bastrop or any of those places. The kids in every one of the Gilmer, every one of your towns, Newton, everyone, they just want to be loved. They just want to know they matter. They want to be given guidance. They want to be held accountable. They want to become the best men they can become. And what a great platform and vessel we have through this great game to do that, and it's such an honor, and it's something that I will be forever indebted to this profession for. Our student athletes keep me smiling, keep me laughing, and they try to keep me young. That's getting harder each and every day. But if my dad said it once, he said it a million times, and I echo his words. I don't feel like I've ever worked a day in my life. I love this profession, love everything about it. Thank you again. God bless you all, and God bless Texas high school football.
Thank you, Coach. It is now time for our annual presentation of Hall of Fame watches to the coaches of the 2024 state championship teams. And helping with the presentation are members of the Texas High School Coach Association Board and UIL directors. Our state championship watches are provided courtesy of Jostens, celebrating moments that mattered. Beautiful watches as well. And so we'll ask the coaches of the state championship teams, please come forward to accept your watches if you'll come up at this time. And while the coaches make their way to the front, please take a moment to look at your table. You'll see a white card there on your table that will be used later in the program for our autographed football silent auction. And at the end of the program, please use these cards to place your bid for one of the 19 footballs that are autographed by tonight's inductees. So it would be a football that has all the signatures of the inductees of the newest class. So we'll invite you not to miss your chance to take home a special piece of this unforgettable evening. All right? We recognize our state championship coaches. First of all, from 1A Division II, from Jayton High School, Coach Josh Staniland. From 1A Division I, from Gordon High School, Coach Mike Reed. From Class 2A Division II, representing Coach Brady Carney of Munster High School, Tyler McDaniel. From Class 2A Division I, state champions, Ganado, Coach Josh Irvin. From Class 3A Division II, state championship gunner, representing Coach Jake Fazell, is Justin McDaniel. From Class 3A Division I, state champion from Columbus, Coach Matt Schobel. From Class 4A Division II, from state champion Carthage, Coach Scott Surratt. From Class 4A Division I, state champion Salina, Coach Bill Elliott. From Class 5A Division II, state champion Richmond Randall, Coach Brian Randall. From Class 5A Division I, state champion Smithson Valley, Coach Larry Hill. From Class 6A Division II, state champion Vandergrift of the Greater Austin area, Coach Drew Sanders. And from Class A, 6A, Division I, state champion North Crowley, Coach Ray Gates. Once again, a round of applause for our state championship coaches. Now, before we officially enshrine the class of 2025, we would like to take a moment to recognize some very special guests. Now, I'm going to read the names of former Texas High School Football Hall of Fame inductees who are joining us this evening. We're going to ask everybody to hold their applause until I go through the list of that and some other special guests, and then we'll have one round of applause for everybody. First of all, when I call your name, please stand and remain standing till everybody's name's called. Texas High School Football Hall of Fame inductees, Mike Anderson, Dr. Charles Breidup, Coach Joe Martin, Coach John Parchman, Coach Tom Kimbrough, Coach Jim Streety. We also have a number of other special guests with us, representatives of the University Interscholastic League, Executive Director Dr. Jamie Harrison and Athletic Director Ray Cepeda. Also representatives of the Texas High School Coaches Association joining Executive Director Joe Martin and Assistant Executive Director Glenn West. Agents of the Texas Farm Bureau Insurance. Paul and Jill Underwood, sponsors of the Gordon Wood Award. And one other inductee, special guest, Larry Morrison, who was a Kansas City Chiefs ball boy in the late 70s and also from Lee Summit, Missouri, and has been around an awful long time. Thanks to him. Please stand. And also a couple of special guests. Waco's a wonderful city, and it's probably gotten even a little more wonderful with the presence of these two individuals through television and through those silos you see over there. Chip and Joanna Gaines are here. So congratulations to everybody. Thank you. If you are a former inductee, our good friend Carlton Dixon with Reveal Suits is here, and he can offer you a pretty good deal, a discount if you'd like to purchase one of these outstanding blazers. Starting with this year's inductees, Dave Campbell's Texas Football Magazine is proud to be the presenting sponsor of the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame induction jackets. Dave Campbell's Texas Football is working with the Texas-based specialty apparel provider Reveal Suits, the world's only custom clothier, offering officially licensed suits and blazers for both men and women, while also providing the highest quality garment for business professionals for any occasion. So again, Carlton Dixon is the man to see it, and the new enshrinees will get their blazers tonight. So now we've reached the moment in the program where we proudly present for enshrinement for the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame class of 2025. We go by decades, and you'll learn something about each of these gentlemen, and then they'll get an opportunity to address you with a few remarks. We start off representing from the year 1969 and prior, Gary Keithley of Alvin High School. Now, Gary earned all-state honors as a senior in 1968. After leading the Alvin Yellow Jackets to their first district title in a decade. The team lost in the 3A state semifinals to Refugio. 55-44 was a game that matched that legendary 1963 San Antonio Lee and Brackenridge showdown as the highest scoring playoff matchup in state history, a record it held for 26 years. He was known as Mr. Do Everything by the Houston media. Keithley set school record, 1,789 passing yards and 21 touchdowns. He also scored 15 more touchdowns on his own. He averaged 42.5 yards per punt. He helped the Yellow Jackets finish the season with a 12-1 record. He was a three-time all-district quarterback and earned recognition as the top quarterback recruit in Texas football. Keithley signed with the University of Texas before later transferring to UTEP, where, as a senior, he ranked among the top 10 in the nation for punting, passing, and total offense. He was selected by the St. Louis Cardinals in the second round of the 1973 NFL Draft, and after 3 seasons with the Cardinals, Keithley spent 2 seasons with the British Columbia Lions of the Canadian Football League in 1977 and 78. Following his playing career, Keithley returned to Texas and began a long coaching career. In 2009, he was inducted into the inaugural class of the Alvin ISD Athletic Hall of Honor. And now, please join me in welcoming Gary Keithley as he takes his place in the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame.
Wow, what a deal. I appreciate it. I want to thank the Hall of Fame committee for this award. It's pretty neat. I tell you what, I had a lot of backing. I had about this much talent, and the guys I was playing with had a lot of talent. My coaches and my fellow teammates, they take all the credit in the world. I mean, they need to be up here for part of this award, really, because they deserve it. I want to recognize, at this time, I want to recognize my family that's sitting over there, my wife, my 2 sons, some friends that are here, my brother and his wife and his family. And I really appreciate them coming. They came from a long way to attend this banquet, so it's really neat having them there. Thank you very much.
Representing the decade of the 1970s is Pat Thomas of Plano Senior High School. He was a standout defensive back at Plano, also played quarterback, and was a tremendous part of the Wildcats' 1971 Class 3A state championship. They won a thriller over Gregory Portland 21-20. He earned all-district honors 3 years in a row and capped his senior year with all-state recognition. For those of you who learned about the dominance, the greatness of Plano Senior High with John Clark, the original patriarch, and then, of course, Tom Kimbrough. When Coach Clark coached them to that state championship, Pat Thomas was certainly the ringleader and the flashpoint of that. He went on to star at Texas A&M, Pat earned All-America honors both in 1974 and 1975, firmly establishing himself as one of the best defensive backs in college football. In 1976, he was drafted in the 2nd round by the Los Angeles Rams, where he became one of the NFL's top defensive playmakers. Over 6 seasons, he collected 26 interceptions, 7 fumble recoveries, making him a takeaway machine in the defensive backfield. He was a first-team All-Pro in 1980 and a 2-time Pro Bowler. After retiring, Thomas brought his talents to the sideline. He coached in the USFL with the Houston Gamblers, then at the University of Houston, and later in the NFL with the Houston Oilers, the Indianapolis Colts, and the Buffalo Bills. He also gave back at the high school level, coaching at Galveston Ball from 2013 to 2018. Taking his place in the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame, please welcome Pat Thomas.
All right. Just want to let you guys know what a privilege it is to be here and be a part of the great football that's taken place in the state of Texas over many years. And I wanted I've got a few seconds, I wanted to be sure and give thanks to a lot of people that have been a major part of my life. And first of all, now, is it Mother's Day? Yes, Mother's Day is coming up. So to all of you ladies in here, happy Mother's Day. All right. I also would like to have my wife stand up. Lee Thomas, could you stand up? The reason I asked Lee to stand up because she is unquestionably the greatest gift that God has ever given me. And I thank him for each and every day. I want you to know that. Also, I wanted to be sure and thank my children. If you could, please stand up. You guys are certainly the greatest gift that I've ever had in my life. I love you. Thank you. The Coach John Clark is not here. Coach Kimbrough is, and Gerald Brent, and another guy, Coach Roy Lamb. Coaches that influenced my life, that made me a better person. And I want to be sure and thank them for the things that they did to allow me to be the person I am today. If you could, Coach Kimbrough and Brent, could you guys stand up, please, so we can get a hand? He's back at the back right there. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. The other person that I look up to dearly, and the guy that, there's no way, no way I could have been the player I was without him. And that's my cousin, Alex Williams. Alex was the, go ahead. Alex was the first black quarterback to win a state championship after integration. And if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be where I am today. You know, in Plano, it's you find that it's a city where you got a lot of people, all different colors, all ranges, everything you could think of. But the one thing that stands there is community. The people that live in the city, the people that play as one. And the people that we had on our staff showed that, and those guys that we were around. Well, also in the Plano community was a guy named Jim Thomas that shined shoes and was a janitor for a living. And that's my grandfather. And also, there was Ben Thomas, who has a monument there named after him for the work that he put into the Douglas community. Also, and the last one is James Thomas III. And just so happened that he is here today. He's my brother. Duty, would you stand up? Now, this guy has served in the city of Plano for over 30 years. He has been a guy that's done everything it takes to build the community, to help in every way he can, to bring people together. He's taken care of the needy. All the things that people need, they come to him. Raise money for all type of funds and everything he can to make the city of Plano a better place. Duty, could you stand up, please? Thank you. I'd like to add that Duty also has a monument being built in his name as well in the city of Plano. So the Thomas family is very deeply rooted in Plano for giving and for sharing and for bringing people along. And I'm just really happy that I've had a chance to experience that. Last thing I want to say is that there was an event that happened in my football career that changed my life. And guys talked about it earlier. And when we were playing against Brownwood, the year before they beat us in the playoffs, my brother was going to school at Howard Payne, and so was Alex, had gotten out of Howard Payne, and we were playing them in the game before the championship. And in that game, Coach had the chance to call a play, and the last play of the game was one where they punted the ball. I actually missed a field goal. I kicked field goals early in the game. I missed a field goal, but the game was tight. The last drive of the game, they kicked the ball, punted it, 10-yard line. We got to go all the way down the field. We got 2 timeouts. I was a running back going into this game. Well, Coach Kimbrough, as bright as he always has been, put me at quarterback because in my previous years I played quarterback. Well, once he did that, obviously they thought we were going to run the ball, 90 yards and score in 20 or 30 seconds. No, we threw the ball. We threw the ball 3 times down the field, got to the 20-yard line, and called our last time out. This is very critical because the last time out means that we're going to throw a Hail Mary. Well, hell no. We're not throwing no Hail Mary on the last play of the game. So Coach Kimbrough called me over. He said, Pat, come on, let's go. We're fixing to kick a field goal. I said, Coach, did you realize I just missed a field goal the last time I kicked? He said, yeah, I know. Get your shoe on. Get your shoe on. I had a zip-up shoe, and I was sitting there, and all I could think about going through my head, they're going to lynch my ass if I miss this field goal. Shoot, man. I saw all the cars coming from the other side of town, coming into the Douglas community, talking about, where you at, y'all? Where you at? So, no, actually, that was serious. So after that, my cousin Jackie, who played with me, he came over and grabbed me and said, come on, let's go, Pat, let's go. We're gonna win this game. We're going to win the game. I said, okay. All right, I got to go. So I went out on the field, and Glenn Hansen was holding the ball, snapped the ball to Glenn. And, well, he didn't snap it to Glenn yet, but Glenn looked up at me and said, Pat, are you ready? And I stopped for a minute, and I said, I can't miss this field goal. So I said a little prayer. I said, God, please help me to be the best that I could be. Well, after I said that, it was remarkable because it was the first time that I saw the Spirit of God come into me at a point where I was totally relaxed. When I called on him and I trusted him, that totally comforted me. I couldn't have done that myself. I know I couldn't have. But with God, I learned that all things are possible. And because of that, I played everywhere I went. Everything I did as a coach, trusted in God. I didn't play for me. The most important thing in my life was what Coach taught us, the people that we play with, the people that we go work hard with every day. Those are the people that you play for. I tell you what, if I was the only one I was playing for, it would have been over. My strength came just like all the other players that played at Plano, came from the others that were on the team. Everything we got, we put into them, and we became a lot stronger. And it won championship after championship. Thank you.
Now I know why in the 70s and 80s all those teams coached by Coach Clark and Coach Kimbrough were called God's teams by so many people. Now I know. I think 10-8 was that final, Coach Kimbrough, 10-8 with that field goal win over Brownwood. And Pat, by the way, kicks the extra point. They beat Gregory Portland 21-20 to win the state championship the next year. On to the 1980s, and our next enshrinee from Cuero High School is Brad Gable. Now, Brad lit up the scoreboard as the standout quarterback from Cuero. For 1984 to 86, he racked up an incredible 3,480 passing yards, 40 touchdowns. He led the Gobblers to a 22-3 record during that time and made a thrilling run to the 3A state championship game in 1986. His talent earned him a spot in the prestigious Texas High School Coach Association All-Star Game. Following high school, Brad moved on to Baylor University, made an instant impact as a freshman in 1987, He was named a consensus All-Southwest Conference quarterback, and over his collegiate career, he passed for more than 5,000 yards and 25 touchdowns. Despite going undrafted, Brad went on to play parts of 4 seasons in the NFL with the Eagles, the Browns, and the Jaguars. He's a proud member of both the Cuero High School Hall of Fame, the Baylor Athletic Hall of Fame, and now please welcome your new member of the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame, Brad Gable.
Sick 'em Bears. Thank you, Craig. I want to say thank you to the Texas High School Hall of Fame Board, and what a great event y'all put on each year. First, I just want to say how honored and so very humbled I am to be inducted here tonight. Several years ago, I was inducted into the Baylor Athletic Hall of Fame, and I considered that the pinnacle of my football career. However, being inducted here into the Texas High School Hall of Fame is truly crowning achievement. I've said it many times, playing high school football in the state of Texas is some of the best times I've ever had in my life. The foundation of my career was formed during those early years, and the memories that we made, have stayed with me forever. Joining me here tonight, I want to recognize my wonderful, beautiful wife, Christy, my daughter, Kylie, and her fiance, Austin, and my 15-year-old son, Gage. Now, Gage was a lot more excited about meeting some of my fellow famous inductees than he was having old dad get inducted. And I don't blame him one bit. In fact, Robert, Gage is a hurdler. He's an 8th grader now, and he'll be in a high school in Marble Falls. And so if you could possibly give him some tips on hurdling. He's also the quarterback, so how to dodge some of those tacklers out there and hurdle. And then Patrick, maybe afterwards you could teach him how to throw that no-look pass you do. He's good. He wants to try that. I also want to acknowledge my parents, Arlen and Sally Gable. They're not here tonight, but they're watching on live stream. Also, my brothers, Bart and Benson. Thank you for always being there, the support and the guidance you've given me, being there for all my games. And then, having my 2 brothers, we were all very close in age, all 3 of us. And they taught me how to be pretty tough and physical at an early age. We wore out the grass in our backyard playing football games and King of the Hill and everything else you can think of. I also want to recognize my high school football coach. He's not able to join us here tonight, but Larry Pullen and his wife Cindy. Now Larry convinced me to play quarterback my junior year in high school because I was a wide receiver and a safety. But Larry saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. He had the confidence in me and said, Brad, you're going to be a quarterback. My first love was baseball. He said, you can throw the football. You need to stick with it. And God bless him, and God bless all these high school coaches here in the state of Texas. Without them, a lot of the athletes would never be where they are, and I know I wouldn't be without Larry. So I want to say thank you to Larry and his wife, Cindy. Also want to say that I was just one guy on a football team. I was just a quarterback. As Pat said, it takes a team. And I had some wonderful, great teammates and coaches at Cuero. I got a lot of the credit, but without those guys, I wouldn't be here tonight. Some of them are able to join me here tonight, and I really appreciate that. I wanted to recognize them. Tom Kelly, Paul Harper, Jennings Steen, Clay Pullen, and my quarterback coach is here with us tonight, Kenneth Shoemaker. Thank you guys for all the memories that we had and being my teammates, and without y'all, I wouldn't be here. Finally, thank you all. This is a wonderful group. Football is great in the state of Texas, and we really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Representing the decade of the 1990s is John C. Norman from Robert E. Lee High School in Midland. Now, few defensive backs in Texas high school football history left a mark quite like what John Norman did at Midland Lee. A true playmaker with elite instincts. He was a dominant force in the Rebels secondary from 1994 through 96. As a junior in 1995, he recorded 11 interceptions for 449 return yards and 4 touchdowns, including a Texas high school record 101-yard return against Abilene Cooper. He followed that with 80 tackles and 6 more interceptions his senior year, earning first-team All-District and, first-team All-State honors for a second consecutive time. He was a parade All-American in 1996 in Texas football super team selection. He was ranked among the top 5 defensive backs in the country by SuperPret and widely recognized as one of the top overall prospects in the state by publications across the state of Texas. He still holds Midland Lee's records for career interceptions with 20 and single season picks with 10, including 2 returned for touchdowns in a single game. He was recruited by nearly every major Division I program, and John went on to start Texas Tech, where he was a 3-year starter at safety and linebacker. As a senior, he posted 106 tackles, 14 of those for loss, and 3 interceptions. He also excelled on special teams, where he led the Big 12 in punt return yardage average and ranked nationally with an average of 28.4 yards, including an 86-yard touchdown return. The accomplishments are many, and now he joins the ranks of the other Texas high school football greats into the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame. Please welcome John Norman.
Whew. God is good. I had to let y'all see my outfit, man. I couldn't just come up here without my jacket on. Hey, boy. We had to do the exchange right, you know what I'm saying? So, man, I had a whole speech written out and everything, man. And I'm gonna try to get through it. So y'all bear with me. Y'all pray for me, man. It's a pretty huge deal. Pretty huge deal for a kid coming out of from the east side of Midland, Texas. All right, first and foremost, I want to thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Yeah, y'all can give it up for him. I know that may sound cliche, but that's real. I want to thank him for allowing me to stand here today. This honor being inducted into the Texas High School Hall of Fame. It's beyond anything I ever dreamed growing up as a kid on the east side of Midland, Texas. I am truly humbled by that. To my family, I want to first of all say thank you to my wife, Denise. Stand up, Denise. You know, you got to stand up now. He done already started it. We gonna stand up. Go on, show you, boy. She fine, ain't she? There you go. Go on and stand up, baby. That's my rib right there. It's no words, man, that can express the gratitude I have to God for allowing me to be graced with your presence on a daily basis. till death do us part. To my children, I hope and pray that throughout my journey of pouring into kids like I do, that y'all understand that you are the reason behind that focus. Braylon and Deuce, if y'all can stand up, please. Those are my sons right there. To my dad, who never missed a game and always made sure I had what I needed, even when it wasn't easy. Daddy, if you can stand up, Jerry Norman. It's gonna get all of y'all right here, boy. To my moms, yeah, I got several of them, whose unwavering support allowed me to become who I am today. Mama, Sheila, Rose, and Wanda Sue, can y'all stand up, please? These are my moms. To my coaches who pushed me to not just be a good player, but a better man. I have a couple of my coaches here with me today, Coach Meeks, Coach Mike Meeks, and Coach Radliff. If y'all can please stand up. And these are my high school coaches, defensive coordinator, and my secondary coach. Taught me everything I knew about the secondary. Whew, I'm almost there, y'all. To my teammates, you hear a lot of people talk about their teammates and the team that they have. I just want to say, this isn't just my name in the Hall of Fame, but it's all of my teammates that went to war with me, that bled, sweat, and it worked together under those Friday night lights that we played under. In particular, we had a group we called the Fab Five. We did everything together. It was 5 of us, and we played football, we played basketball, we ran track, we even sang in the choir together. And so to my teammates and specifically that Fab Five, we have one of those members here today, Antoine Alexander. If you could stand up. This is my partner in crime. I also want to thank my community, man. The teachers, mentors, and neighbors who helped raise me with values of discipline, trust, respect, hard work, integrity, and accountability. It takes a village, and I'm a product of one that poured love and faith into me. Today, I have the privilege of working with young athletes across Texas. I see myself in so many of them. Eager, raw, full of potential, and now my mission is to be the same bridge for them that so many people were for me. That's the heart behind Hall of Fame Kids, a book I authored to pass on the lessons, the values, and the inspiration to the next generation. Because being a Hall of Famer isn't just about stars, stats, and touchdowns. It's about legacy, leadership, and lifting others up to be phenomenal. I stand here not as someone who always did the right thing, but as someone who was shaped by love, discipline, and grace. My hope is that not only my story, but the stories of all of these Hall of Famers here today helps light the path for a kid out there who may be doubting themselves. Because if it can happen for us, it can happen for you as well. I want to thank you all for this tremendous honor. Thank you to the Texas High School Hall of Fame. I'll carry it with gratitude and responsibility for the rest of my life. God bless you all, and God bless Texas.
Our next enshrinee into the class of 2025 of the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame is Robert Griffin III from Copperas Cove. Now, Robert led Copperas Cove to the state championship game 2006 and 2007, throwing for 3,357 yards, 41 touchdowns, and just 9 interceptions, rushing for 2,161 yards and 32 touchdowns as Cove played for the 4A Division I state championship. He was also a standout track athlete, setting state records in the 110-meter hurdles and the 300-meter hurdles, missing the national high school record by just 1/100th of a second. He was named the Gatorade Texas Track and Field Athlete of the Year in 2006 and made the USA Today All-USA Track and Field team in 2007. So how do you top that? Well, at Baylor, Robert threw for over 10,000 yards. He rushed for 2,254 yards. He led the team to 6 straight wins to finish the 2011 season, including victories over number 5 Oklahoma and number 22 Texas. It earned him the 2011 Heisman Trophy, first ever Heisman Trophy winner from Baylor University. In the 2012 NFL Draft, Griffin was selected second overall by Washington. He led the team to the playoffs in his rookie season and was named the NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year in over 7 NFL seasons. He passed for nearly 9,300 yards and 43 touchdowns. Now he is taking his talents to the broadcast booth to share his expert commentary on NFL games and player performances. So please welcome, as he takes his place in the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame, Robert Griffin III.
Those glasses don't work anyway, so they are not prescription, so I can't see anybody. But I just want to say thank you to the Texas High School Hall of Fame, for bestowing this honor upon myself and my family. Since we're going to continue this tradition of having everyone stand up, I'd like my family and the table to stand up so I can acknowledge everybody that's here with us today. I want to say thank you to my wife, Grete. Yes. Our daughters, Reese, Gloria, Gamea, and Gia, who's been talking the whole time. And that's right, people, I'm a girl dad of 4. Yep, just me and the dog. House full of princesses and queens, right? I love you guys. None of you knew me in high school, but going to high school in Texas is what made me who I am today. So I think you have to thank Texas for making me the dad I am and the father I am. I hope that I am a good father and a good dad, right? And a good husband to you, baby. So I think we all in this room know that Texas is just a special place. And there's just something about Texas high school football that makes it feel so big that the rest of the world feels small. The passion, whether the high school team wins or loses kind of determines how the teachers treat you that week. Right? Math and social studies are actually fun. And your high school coach is a demon, all right? Because when you win, you can't let that rat poison of success and praise make you soft. So they go harder on you every single time. But that's what makes Texas so special and why I hold this honor so near and dear to my heart. There's nothing like Texas, guys. I want to say a few names, and you probably won't recognize a lot of them, but they mean the world to me. Sean Robertson, Nathan Kepler, Sean Doherty, Jerry Hill, William Mallow, Anthony Mackey Jr., Nate Joseph, Robbie Reeves, and Corey Smithers. Those are my high school offensive linemen. And I would not be up here today if it wasn't for them protecting and paving the way for me. I got a couple teammates that are in the building right now. Donnell Morrison. Where you at, Donnell? There he is with the cowboy hat. Donnell has a picture that he likes to show everybody of us when we were 6 years old. All right? We were playing baseball together, coach's pitch. And he's been a friend to me ever since Whether sometimes I don't respond on time or not, he's always a text message away. And I want to say thank you, brother. Appreciate you. We got another friend in the building, Jordan Jones. He was a linebacker for us at Coppers Cove. And he's the same way. He's been amazing. He found out that we are having this event here, and we haven't seen each other in a few years, but once again, just a text message away. And that's what makes Texas so special for me, having grown up here. It's the greatest football years of your life. And this is coming from a guy who, as they so eloquently stated, played in college here at Baylor, and then obviously went to the NFL and played for the Washington Redskins at the time, now the Commanders, formerly the Washington football team. A lot of names, I know. And what you don't realize as you continue to grow and get to the next stage is just how much you're going to miss those guys. We have stories for days, war stories you call them, right, where you got your scars. These are the people that know you, truly know who you are, and helped you grow and develop into the young man that you eventually became. So I don't know how else to say thank you but to acknowledge them in a room full of their peers. I got to say thank you, yes. Give them my hand a clap, yeah. Also, the man, the legend, Jack Welch. Where you at, Coach? There he is. And his wife, Carol, good to see you as well. Jack Welch turned around Coppers Cove football. And people try to attribute that to me because I think they just have a little bit of like revisionist history sometimes. But I remember when I was in first grade with Jack Welch and we would go to the football camp. And Josh Harrison was the running back, and his son was the quarterback. And they would teach us all these things, and I realized, like, as I got to junior high school and I played in 7th grade for the first time ever, the plays that they were teaching us at that campus, first graders, were the same plays that we were running in 7th grade. And sometimes, you know, we heard I think it was the Barbet family talking about how you don't know how hard it is to win in Texas when it comes to football, no matter where you're at. Jack had the system so nailed down that he was training you from first grade to know that system when you got to high school. And yeah, we used to run that quarterback jet sweep. And by that, I mean it's like the toss, but get in front and block for the running back sweep. You toss it out on the outside, and now you're the quarterback and you're the lead blocker. And I remember that because when I went to college and I was here at Baylor University and we did our first toss sweep, I'm asking the coach, why am I not blocking? That gives us extra numbers. We got 11 on 11, baby, let's go. Jack taught us that. He taught us how to win when we didn't necessarily always have the most talent and have, the biggest offensive lineman. Sean Doherty, I mentioned to him. Sean Doherty was every bit of 5'9", 5'10", 240 pounds. I don't know if you've seen any of those guys in the NFL, but they are freaking war daddies inside when it comes to high school football. Jack taught us how to win that way. He taught us how to win with speed. He taught us how to win with discipline. I'll never forget, and they'll hate me for this, but we played against a team called Shoemaker, which is the team on Fort Hood. And they had about 9 Division I football players. But we knew they didn't have a Division I football team, and they weren't coached the best. We beat those boys 66-0. Oh yeah, that wasn't me. I'd had a couple touchdowns, but it wasn't me. It was because of you, Coach. So I want to say thank you. Thank you for helping me get to where I've gotten in life, and I'll never forget that. To my dad, anybody knows my story, know my dad is really the reason I was, such a dedicated and determined athlete coming up in high school. I want to say thank you to him. He's not here today because he is out coaching track and field, pouring into other people's kids, and that's always been a quality of his that we knew was at the heart of why he does it. He doesn't help people to make money. He doesn't help people to be rich. He wants to enrich their lives. So I want to say thank you to him. He demanded greatness out of me. He did everything he could to beat me at basketball for as long as possible, even to the point where he was changing the rules of the game, okay? Because at one point I got fast, right? And I was getting a little taller, so he couldn't shuffle with me anymore, bad knees and all, you know what I'm saying? So we started doing free throw competitions. And that was the only way he could beat me until I eventually beat him in that. And then we just stopped playing, all right? And I respected his desire to want to win. even though he had to try to change the rules sometimes to win. And it taught me how to be a winner in life with or without changing the rules. So I want to say thank you to my dad. I respected that desire of his to win, and it's really, really made me who I am today. Can I have my mom stand up? So just perfect. She's filming this speech. Because she went to every single game and every single practice that I ever had in high school, and she did exactly that right there. She filmed it. So my dad had me on the film study early. Okay, I'm 8 years old, we breaking down the film. But we wouldn't have had any film if it wasn't for you. You were always the sugar to my dad's salt, literally all the time. You taught me how to be a man that honors his father and honors his family. You taught me and my sisters how to be not just strong, but also serve people. And I think that's why I've been able to stay, or feel like I've been able to stay grounded and stay who I am, that people know me from high school, still see me and say the same things that they did to me when I was in high school, is because I had that example from you. No matter how high we climb, no matter what we do, we always have to say that same person. We can grow, but we never become full of ourselves. And I think you taught me that. So thank you for that, Mom. And happy Mother's Day as well. Now to my wife. Again, please stand up by yourself. Yes. You were not with me in high school, as I said before. But I want to say thank you. You rescued me in a time of my life when I didn't know what I was going to do next. Thank you for giving me a life of love, a life with purpose. And thank you for making me a dad again and again and again. I think you got one more in you. I think the people want RG4. I'm just saying. Yeah, y'all laughing, but y'all know I'm serious. I hear you now. I love you. You know, watching you be a mom, the kindness, the care, the patience, the attention to detail, even that protective mama bear that comes out of you when the kids are playing sports, I love that. I love it. And I see you in all of our kids. And that to me is the biggest blessing in the world because you're the best person I know. So I love you, baby. Happy Mother's Day. And last, I just want to say thank you to you guys. Thank you to the other men that are being inducted into the Hall of Fame. I'm honored to be in this class with you. I've said it before earlier today, but it is truly an honor to have been able to watch Patrick, watch you do your thing, man. I know you're a little younger than me, not too much younger, but just a little younger. And to see you really truly develop into the player that you've become, you know, being able to watch you become the greatest quarterback in NFL history is something that I've actually thoroughly enjoyed. Being able to tell your story on TV and do all those things has meant the world to me. So to go into this class of the Hall of Fame with you and the rest of these guys is truly an honor. Thank you to you guys for showing up, honestly. Chip and Joanna Gaines, appreciate you guys coming out. I see you back there with the wave. You know, they've been great friends. They have literally transformed this city. Every time I just told them earlier, every time I drive back to Waco, it just looks different. And I'm like, in a good way, guys, in a great way. Even this building is just phenomenal. And a lot of that goes to, obviously, the accomplishments that we were able to make on the football field, but what you guys have done off the football field has really taken the city to another level. I want to say thank you to everybody else that is here, really just for honoring myself and these guys. This wouldn't feel as big if you guys weren't here. So we appreciate you. God bless.
And representing the decade from 2010 to 2020 is Patrick Mahomes II from White House High School. He was named Max Prep's Male Athlete of the Year for the 2013-2014 school year. Patrick had an exceptional high school career with the White House Wildcats. As a junior, he threw for 3,839 yards and 46 touchdowns, rushed for 248 yards and 6 touchdowns, leading White House to a 10-2 record. As a senior, he threw for 4,619 yards and 50 touchdowns, ran for 948 yards and 15 scores, and he led the Wildcats to an undefeated regular season and a 12-1 overall record. On to Texas Tech, where Mahomes passed for over 11,000 yards and 93 touchdowns, while rushing for 1,349 yards and 22 touchdowns. In his final season alone, before turning pro, Patrick threw for 5,052 yards and 41 touchdowns, with 285 rushing yards and 12 touchdowns, earning a spot in the Texas Tech Sports Hall of Fame and the Football Ring of Honor in 2022. Selected 10th overall by the Kansas City Chiefs, what were the other 9 teams thinking? In the 2017 NFL Draft, Mahomes has become one of the NFL's brightest stars. In 8 seasons, he's thrown for over 32,000 yards and 245 touchdowns, rushed for 2,243 yards and 14 touchdowns, and led the Chiefs to 5 Super Bowl appearances and 3 Super Bowl championships, in earning Super Bowl MVP in each of those victories. With 17 playoff wins, he ranks second all-time among quarterbacks. He's been selected to 6 Pro Bowls, named NFL MVP twice, and earned first-team All-Pro honors twice. Now, taking his place in the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame, as well as in history, please join me in welcoming into the High School Football Hall of Fame, Patrick Mahomes II.
Brittany told me I'm not allowed to make her stand up, so we will not be doing that. Before we even started, I just want to give thanks to God for just giving me so many opportunities in life and having this platform. Without him, none of this is possible, so I want to thank him first and foremost. I want to thank the Texas High School Hall of Fame. It's truly an incredible honor. And being inducted today means the world to me, because Texas is where it started for me. Growing up here, you learn that football isn't just a game. It's the heart of every community. It teaches you how to handle pressure, how to carry expectations, and how to push through adversity when everyone is watching. At the time, when I was a young kid in the hallways of White House High School, I didn't realize how important that would be. But looking back now, I can say without a doubt that playing high school football in White House, Texas, gave me the foundation for everything in life I have accomplished so far. I owe so much to the people who supported me in those years, to the coaches. Adam Cook's here. I'm going to make him stand up, and my head coach is here. And support staff at White House, to my teammates, who are all my best friends to this day, and we're growing kids together with them all having this kids my age, so it's been awesome to see that kind of go ahead and come from White House. To the fans and the community and the people that like are here today, y'all have helped me become the man that I am every single day. I want to say thank you to my family, my wife Brittany, who will stay seated. She has been there since the very beginning. It was cool when we were at the Hall of Fame and seeing my presentation. There was a picture of her as a cheerleader and then me as a quarterback my junior year. And I'm glad that that picture was shown, because she is the rock that has made me who I am. So I'm glad that that's a part of history as well. My mom, who worked her tail off to give me every opportunity to go out there and play all the sports, because it wasn't just football, it was baseball, basketball, and I put a lot of baseball tournaments here in Waco, and she was making sure that I was at all those games. I want to say thank you to her, my dad. Obviously, a lot of people know my dad for the professional baseball player he was, but one thing that has always meant a ton to me is him kind of retiring his career when he probably could have played a little bit longer, to come to every single one of my high school games, and that meant a ton to me as a kid growing up. I want to say thank you to all of them. I wouldn't be standing here today without them, and without their support from each and every one of y'all. Thank y'all. While we celebrate the rich history of Texas high school football, I also want to take a moment to look ahead to the next generation. Some of y'all may have seen that Texas Tech's been wearing jerseys with my Gladiator logo with Adidas, but that started last season and was just the beginning. Tonight, I'm proud to announce that I'm partnering with Adidas to create custom jerseys, not for just college teams, but for 15 high school across the country too. White House, obviously, was my first choice. I actually brought the jersey tonight. Brittany's gonna bring it up for me. Seeing this Gladiator logo, which has become part of my identity on a White House jersey, means everything to me. It's a symbol of what we stood for when I was at White House. The commitment, grit, and going all in every single day. That mindset of giving everything you got and never backing down is something I've carried with me through every stage of my career. And now, it is something I hope inspires the next generation of athletes across the country. So I want to say thank you. This is such an incredible honor. I'm proud to be a White House Wildcat, first and foremost. And I'm proud to be from Texas. And I'm proud to be a part of this Hall of Fame. And more than anything, I'm proud to keep giving back to the game that has given me so much. Thank y'all.
We also are proud to induct coaches who have truly made a difference and an impact on our game into the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame. Our first inductee from Newton High School was Coach Curtis Barbay. He left behind a legendary legacy in Texas high school football. Over 36 years as head coach at Newton High School, he led the Eagles to 2 state championships in 1998 and 2005, achieving a career record of 317 wins, 96 losses, and 6 ties. Under his leadership, Newton made the playoffs 29 times, with 5 undefeated regular seasons and 15 seasons of 10 or more wins. At the time of his passing, he ranked as the 4th winningest coach in Texas high school football history. His love for the game began at St. James Elementary in Port Arthur. He earned all-state honors as a quarterback at Bishop Byrne High School and later led his baseball team to a state title after graduating from Lamar University. In 1968, Coach Barbay moved to Newton, planning to stay just a year. 42 years later, his passion for the game never wavered. His influence reached far beyond the field, mentoring young men and instilling the values of hard work and dedication. He was named District Coach of the Year 23 times and led his teams through 3 state finals, 3 state semifinals, 8 quarterfinals, and 22 district championships. The legacy continues now through his loving family. His wife, Mona, children Kelly, Brian, Tracy, Daryl, and their spouses, and his grandchildren, including 3 grandsons who are now coaches themselves. Coach Curtis Barbay's influence, both on the game and in the lives of those he touched, will obviously never be forgotten. We ask you to join me as we induct into the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame and accepting this award on behalf of the Barbay family, Brian Barbay, for Coach Curtis Barbay.
I don't know if y'all saw that picture they had up there right before. That was a picture of my dad holding a Diet Coke bottle at a junior high football game or a JV football game years ago that Sherry took, and they took that and somehow put those pictures on there. That was amazing to me that they did that. But I mean, he was standing at the game holding a Diet Coke bottle, an empty Diet Coke bottle. So anyway, I thought they did a heck of a job on that. All right. On behalf of my dad, Curtis Barbay, my mom, and all of our family, we would like to thank the organization for the induction into the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame. These next words are my sister's. Yes, we have a sister, and she wrote all this down, so we know exactly what to say. If he were here today, I believe he would say that he didn't do anything special other than go to work every day at a job that he loved. When he passed away, he had a record of 317, 96, and 6, which at the time he was the number 4 winningest coach in the state of Texas. He's still currently in the top 10, and he died back in 2010. So he's still in the top 10, and he's been gone for almost 15 years. So now what makes that number so special is every one of those wins were in the same town. That was Newton. Population probably around 2,000 people. A town where he told my mama he was going to go there for 1 year, get a little experience, and go back and move back to Port Arthur and continue his coaching career. And he coached there for 43 years. So it was a town that he coached generations of families through those 43 years, a town that became his family. He treated every kid the same, regardless if they were rich or poor, black or white, superstar or the trainer. It didn't matter. He gave everybody a chance to belong. He had opportunities to move on to bigger and better places, and he made the choices that were best for him and his family. And I'll allude to what Coach said, the coach from Allen earlier. That's one thing our daddy never made us do, is he never made us cry ourselves to sleep for 6 months. We stayed there forever, and we appreciated it. I didn't get to do the same for my kids. My brother didn't get to do the same for his. But we appreciated it that we have a place to call home, okay? Now, back to my sisters. Hey, because of these choices, we still have a place to call home, which we now know is a very rare thing. Outside of football, he loved fishing and he loved going to the racetrack. Those are where most of my memories are from, going fishing and going to Delta Downs over there in Benton. Now, on Sundays, he attended Our Lady of La Salette Catholic Church, and he enjoyed spending time with his grandchildren. His legacy lives on as his sons and grandsons, who all have followed in his footsteps and are all called Coach Barbay as well. Now, that's the end of Kelly's writing. Now, I'm going to tell you one story. It's got 4 little parts to it, but I'm going to tell you one story where you really know Coach Barbay. Now, he took a lot of pride in being able to score, but what he really took a lot of pride in was not being able to score. And whenever he had got the score, when he had scored so much in the game and he didn't want to score any more points, he had ways of not scoring. First thing he had is he always had a fumble back. He always had a back that was going to turn the ball over, couldn't catch a pitch, and he knew who those guys were, and he was going to have a fumble back. If he didn't have a fumble back, he would put a lineman back there and just turn it and pitch it to them, and hopefully they wouldn't catch it or wouldn't be able to score. Now, sometimes if they get the ball down there close, if they punt to him, they just take the ball and try a field goal on first down and just kick. And Newton wasn't normally known for having a kicker, so they would go out there, and that would be another way that he wouldn't be able to do it. But my most favorite thing that he did, he had a thing that I called, the way he would word it was, let's see what kind of officials we have. And he would tell his punt returner, he goes, this is what I want you to do. He goes, we're going to take the ball, and we're going to punt it back to him. And he go, Coach, you mean we're going to get the ball on first down and we're going to punt it back to him? He goes, no. You're going to catch the punt and you're going to punt it right back to him. And we're going to see what kind of officials we got. So anyway, he did that throughout the years, many different times, and just to see exactly what the reaction was from the officials. So anyway, that's a memory that if you've gone to Newton, then you've probably seen that before. Now, I do want to thank this. I want to thank all the people from Newton that made the long trip. Newton ISD got a table, superintendent, their new head coach, the guy that, or their, not their new head coach, but their current head coach, who also played for Coach Barbay and won a state championship with Coach Barbay. We got several different players, several different coaches that coached with him, and all made the trip and were able to come over here. All of our family, except for one of my sons. One of my sons had a game today, and he ended up having to go coach a baseball game, which they won, and they're moving on, but he wasn't able to make it. So anyway, we just appreciate everybody from Newton making the long trip and coming out. It means a lot. I know it would mean a lot to Coach Barbay. And lastly, happy Mother's Day to my mama, and happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Thank y'all very much.
Also representing the Eddie Joseph Texas High School Football Hall of Fame coach category is Coach Jeff Traylor from Gilmer High School. Now, Coach Traylor has made a profound impact on football in this state at both the high school and collegiate levels, and that is not the easiest thing in the world to do, to make that transition successfully and smoothly. He's done just that. Currently the head coach of the UTSA Roadrunners since 2020. He previously, of course, built the powerhouse at his hometown of Gilmer, posting an incredible 175-26 record over 15 seasons. Under his leadership, the Gilmer Buckeyes won 3 state championships, 2004, 2009, and 2014, and they made 2 additional state title game appearances, and they captured 12 district titles. His 2004 team went 16-0 to secure the 3A Division II state title. The 2009 team, 15-0, and won the 3A Division I title. In 2014, his high-powered Gilmer offense dominated, scoring 950 points, one of those prolific offenses in Texas history, and won the 4A Division II state championship. In honor of his contributions, Gilmer has renamed their stadium Jeff Traylor Stadium. Throughout his career, Coach Traylor has earned numerous accolades: the Texas High School Coach of the Year 4 times, District Coach of the Year 12 times. He was inducted into the East Texas Coaches Association's Hall of Honor in 2019, and he will be inducted into the THSCA Hall of Honor this coming July. At UTSA, he's compiled a 46-20 record. He's led the Roadrunners to 2 conference championships and 5 straight bowl appearances. UTSA's 29-3 home record ranks 3rd in the FBS over the past 5 years. He's also been a 4-time National Coach of the Year finalist, a 2-time Conference Coach of the Year finalist, and has led his team with 15 All-American honors and 91 All-Conference selection. So, being inducted into the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame in the Eddie Joseph Texas High School Coach category, please welcome Coach Jeff Traylor.
Thank you all very much. I'll try to tell a few stories, thank a lot of people, and brag on some folks. So I'll try to be quick. This is my greatest honor. It's not even close. These Texas high school coaches that are in this room are literally my heroes. And it still cracks me up when they try to introduce themselves to me when they've been my heroes my entire life. To the THSCA, I didn't know how special it was until I became a college coach and I traveled the country. It's not like this anywhere else. They've got athletes in Florida, they've got athletes in Louisiana, they've got athletes all over the country. It's just not ran the way our place is ran. It's the THSCA, it's UIL, it's the combination, it's the superintendents, it's the school board members, it's the booster clubs. It just means more in this state. So grateful. Hell, if you can't tell why we're special, I mean, Lee Wigington up here, I mean, God, if you can't tell why our freaking fraternity's not a badass fraternity, man, you just don't know what you're looking at, right? Johnson Nelson sent me a picture. I hate every picture I've ever seen of myself, but Johnson Nelson sent me a picture in that magazine a while ago of my THSCA cap. That's a badass picture, John. I appreciate you sending that. That was pretty cool. I got to talk about my mom, my dad. My dad passed away in December, right before our bowl game a couple of years ago. Didn't know a dang thing about sports, but man, he loved God and he loved to sing. And he drug our butts in that church every single Sunday. My mom played the piano, my dad could sing Amazing Grace better than anybody in the world. I can't wait till I hear him say the King is coming when I go up there one day. He taught my brothers and I to get our ass in church and to work. And he worked us to death. And we cut more firewood, hauled more hay, fed more food before the rest of you guys even got up. And then we went to work at school. And then the best day of my life, my mama told my daddy, no more free help with them boys. You hire some help, and there's no more free help. He didn't hire anybody. It was still just us. My brother Kurt's sitting here. He's coached our offensive line with me at Jacksonville High School. He's coached our offensive line at Gilmer. He's coached our offensive line at UTSA. I've got to work with my baby brother for 30 freaking years. And he's a freaking great coach and a better brother. His wife, Katie's a stud. All four of his kids are here. Will and Cole and Allie and Riley, love y'all. Thank y'all for being here. My baby brother couldn't be here, so I'm not even going to name his name. His name's Andy, but that's all he's getting. My wife, Carrie, she can't stand up, Patrick, saying the instructions. Care Bear, she's still hotter than fish grease. I know I dropped that line on y'all back in 2009. She's a baddie now. She's a little baddie. 33 years. I've got 3 kids that are just freaking rock stars. My oldest boy, he couldn't make it. He's excused. Jordan, he coaches for the Vikings. They had some rookie ball today, so I let him stay up there, and I didn't want him to get fired his first year up there with the Vikings. His wife, Sierra, my first grandchild, Mickey Jacob. So my middle child, Jake, came in from Washington. Really appreciate that. He's on TV almost as much as RG3. He works for Politico. If you ever see a handsome-ass kid named Jeff Traylor on CNN or ABC or all them cool stations he's on, that's him. My baby girl, JC, who's just praying this 4 minutes will get over without me getting canceled. I don't know if that's because she cares about her father or her will. I don't know which way that works, but she's ready for me to get off this stage. Very grateful for her being here, coming in from Manhattan. Isn't that crazy? I'm from Gilmer, Texas, people. I got a child in Washington, one in Minneapolis, and another one in Manhattan. There is a Lord, and there's a good wife right there for sure. My mother-in-law, who's a freaking rock star, Donna, Carrie's mom, and she is my biggest fan. And she cut a deal with me 33 years ago. She got me good. Back then, they called collect every single day. And I said, I can't afford that. I'm coaching at Big Sandy, Texas. I don't have that kind of money. She said, if you'll keep my daughter all those years, I'll pay for the collect calls. You won't have to pay for them. Y'all don't know what those mean, children. Well, I got a cell phone now, so I kept her daughter, and she didn't have to pay for any phone bills. I still got the best deal out of that. Carrie's best friend, Melinda, came in. Husband, Mike T., thank you for making the trip. If you want to read this story a lot quicker, Dr. Hunter Taylor wrote this whole story. Believe it or not, he picked to write a book about me called Draw the Line. You can read the whole thing if you just want to get up and leave right now. I'll give him a plug for his book. I'm at Big Sandy. I'm rocking along. Out of nowhere, a man named Danny Long calls me. It was the greatest call I ever took in my life. No interview. He's a wild thing, too. I said, don't you want to interview me? He said, no. Ken Jones and Phil Jones told me, you're the best freaking coach in East Texas. I need to hire you. Got these 3 kids named McCowan. They freaking love basketball. I can't have them go straight to the gym. I need them on the football field. We need receivers with them. Come up here and just play basketball with them and make sure you get me a bunch of receivers. I said, Coach, what am I going to do? What's my job going to be? He said, I don't know that yet. He said, I got an O-line job. I said, I can't coach O-line. He said, don't worry. We'll figure something out. Just come on up here. I told Kerry we're going to Jacksonville. Best decision I ever made in my life, man. Coach Long cries. He cusses sometimes. He loves the Lord. I didn't know you could be me and be a ball coach until I worked for Danny. Appreciate you, Coach. Got to meet Matt Turner, the greatest freaking coach in the entire world. He's worked with me at Jacksonville, at Gilmer. He's the best freaking coach at UTSA. He is an unbelievable, he's Jesus with skin on. He's just down here with us right now. Not supposed to be here tonight, but I knew he would be. Love you. My middle child, Jake's named after him, Jacob Matthew. His wife, Jill. Thank you so much, Sarah. Thank you very much for being here tonight. I got to meet some super people. Wayne Coleman, Herb Minyard, Cecil Newton, who made the trip. Appreciate you, Cecil, your wisdom through the years. He's the guy that coached defense, and he always said, what if, what if, what if, what if? I'm like, Cecil, they can't run all them freaking plays. But we went over every one of them all night long. March 2000, my best girlfriend who married my best boyfriend, Melinda Hurt and Colin Hurt, called me. They said, hey, Coach Mullins is resigning at Gilmer. You need to call and apply for the job. I said, there's not a chance in hell they'll hire me to come back home. I'm the only person in the history of the school that got blackballed from the National Honor Society. They're not going to hire me as a football coach. There's no freaking way. Danny called Dr. Bennett. I called Dr. Bennett. I said, Dr. Bennett, it would just be good for my resume if you give me an interview. I'm trying to get a job so I can quit working with this crazy-ass Danny Long. And if you give me an interview at Gilmer, somebody will hire me. He's like, Jeff, I got Robert Bureau wanting this job. I got Dennis Alexander, who are legends in East Texas, wanting this job. I'll give you a 30-minute interview. Your mama was the best teacher my daughter Megan ever had. So I'm going to give you an interview because of your mom. Well, I went in for my interview. Well, you can tell how this goes with me, right? 3.5 hours later, I knew I had a chance. Dr. Bennett hired me. I got hired. I got a newspaper article, if you don't believe me, it's still on my desk right now at San Antonio. It was a split vote. One of them refused to put his name on there. Two of them denied they voted against me, but I got a newspaper article that proved which two voted against me. We won't hold any grudges. Mike Waller will forgive you. I'm moving on. Mary, thank you for coming with him. Appreciate that very much. Dr. Bennett gets to retire. He rides off on his own story. Made my day. Man, John King at Longview and Pat Collins called me and said, man, there's a guy named Rick Albritton over here at Longview. You need to make sure y'all hire this guy. I said, hell, I can't hire him. I'm not the super, I'm the football coach. He said, Jeff, if we all know your cousins, all your best friends are on that school board, you've got 6 of the 7 votes, get the man hired. I'm like, well, I'll do my best. I definitely had a say in him getting the job for sure. He's made our town big time. We got a new high school. We got a new elementary school. We got a new early childhood. We got new stadiums. We got new girl facilities. I mean, we even got a Starbucks in Gilmer right now. I mean, we are really something. Rick, you're a godsend. Thank you so much, Janet, for being here for me. Alan Metzel, who worked for me all those years, now the head coach at Gilmer. One of my greatest moments, the NCAA is whacked out, right? Like, I can't go to the state championship game. It's always dead for some reason. Well, one year, they let us go. 1 year. The Gilmer Buckeyes were there in 2023. I had a booster fly us in. My entire staff was there. To watch, man, my former coaches, all my former players are on that staff. To watch them win another state championship was one of my greatest joys. Thank you, Alan, and your wife, Jenna, for being here. Rebel Jackson, my next door neighbor, coached the freaking 7-on-7 team for 25 years. He's still doing it. His wife, Kim, here. Thank y'all so much for being here. In my very last game there, I remember holding up state championship trophy, and I was thinking, you know, it don't matter how many more times Scott Surratt beats me. I've won a state championship multiple times. I got a stadium named after me. There's no way they can fire me. I think I'm going to just shellac the next 25 years of my life. Little did I know God had a lot in store for me. Charlie Strong called me at the University of Texas. I got to go there and win all kinds of these cool little recruiting national awards because of a man named Mike Gilio, who's now my general manager, and his wife, Caitlin. No way I became a head coach without your work, Mike. I appreciate you, and you're working for me now. Got to go to SMU in Arkansas with a guy named Chad Morris, who's in this Hall of Honor. Appreciate Chad for giving me that opportunity. And then, December 9th, 2019, I got a job I probably didn't deserve. I got to go to UTSA. I mean, God is good. Your prayer life your dreams should always be so large that your prayer life has to match it. So when your dreams come true, no human can take the credit for it. Only the Lord got me that job, and I'm grateful for that job. Let me brag on my road runners a little bit. 5 straight bowls, 2 conference championships, 29-3, but that's not what I want to brag about. We don't have all this stuff, man. NIL, transfer portal, we ain't banking like that in San Antonio. We just don't roll like that. If you'd have told me I had to start a collective and start paying football players in San Antonio, well, here are the people that did it all, man. Martin and Becky Salinas. Becky has to give up a ton of her poor shopping budget to Martin so we can support these dang kids. Mike and Vicky. Mike gets you all the Spurs tickets, man. We're fixing to be hot in San Antonio with our Spurs right now. You want to know Mike Setzer, I can promise you. JJ Perez, who does an unbelievable job of covering us. Jason and April, man, nothing y'all don't do. Thank you for your car. You let me drive every single day. It's a badass Tahoe every day. Greg and Christy, man, appreciate y'all what you did with Christy's Hope for being here tonight. Man, my man Andrew, where you at, Andrew? Andrew was my freaking tight end, my team barber. Now he's the freaking DFO of UTSA, man. He's a badass. Appreciate you, Andrew. And his wife, Sierra, Ron Ritterman and Patty, appreciate you. I also forgot Colin and Melinda's son, Mason. Appreciate you being here. Colin Lane, wife, Rachel. What a ride. Bud Grant said it best, man. If you want to be a great coach, you got to have a patient wife, a loyal ass dog, and some great quarterbacks. Man, I knocked it out of the park. I got every one of them and then some. It's been an absolute blessing. JC, I hope I didn't embarrass you too much. I love you. Hope it was under 5 minutes. God bless and birds up.
Okay, we have one more inductee going into the hall, and then what we'd like to do is all of our inductees, as soon as our last one is introduced, have all the inductees come up for the obligatory group photo. So we'll have that. Now, there are a couple other items that we'll attend to, like the silent auction. We have one other special recognition to come. But first of all, our final inductee is the Dave Campbell Contributor to the Game category. And of course, Dave Campbell, the iconic, immortal editor-in-chief of Dave Campbell's Texas Football Magazine, which he began in 1960, and of course, sports editor of the Waco Trib-Herald for all those many years. Perhaps it is only fitting that this year's inductee to the class of the Dave Campbell Contributor to the Game Award should come from right here in Waco. David Smoke actually began his Texas high school football coverage in 1981 as a television reporter in Lufkin. He later joined KLTV in Tyler, and in 1990 he started hosting a sports talk show at KTBB Radio. A graduate of Tyler Junior College and Stephen F. Austin State University, holds a degree in radio TV. He's got all this East Texas steeped in it. How in the world is he a Washington fan? But anyway, he's won multiple awards from the Texas Association of Professional Broadcasters, including Best Radio Play-by-Play, Best Radio Sports Talk Show, also honored for Best Television Sportscast, Best Sports Feature, Best Serious Story for Jamie's season about Marshall High School's ball boy, Jamie Sexton, who battled leukemia before passing away during the Mavericks playoff run in 1988. In over 3 decades, Smoke has recognized more than 700 high school seniors for academic excellence and community contributions, raising nearly $1 million. In 2002, he co-founded Smokey.com, a high school football website with 60,000 subscribers. He was awarded Tyler Junior College's Spirit Award in 1997, inducted into the East Texas Coaches Association Hall of Honor in 2014, and also, he's a Heisman Trophy and Biletnikoff Award voter and a member of both the Football Writers Association and the Pro Football Writers Association. He now hosts 365 Sports College Football podcast on the Rogue Media Network with his son Craig and longtime co-host Paul Catalina. His daughter Jennifer lives in Dallas with her husband Daniel Golden. We ask you to please join us in welcoming David Smoke as we proudly induct him into the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame.
how do you not want to play for Jeff Traylor? I mean, wow. I'm honored to be a part of something so special, powerful, involving the one-of-a-kind, unmatched tradition of Texas high school football. No state can match the commitment of high school football in basically every way. And as we've heard, that there are great athletes around the country, but what we do here in this state is unbelievable. My first taste of high school football when I was 11 years old, we lived in San Antonio, and my oldest brother, Robert, went to Roosevelt High School. And in 1970, they played the defending state champion San Antonio Lee football team that eventually, of course, would have Tommy Kramer and Richard Osborne, Pat Crockett, and many more. And Roosevelt upset Lee. And it's not so much they did that, it's that I was at that game and I was awestruck at the atmosphere. You hear about the Friday night lights, the atmosphere, all of everything. And I said, you know, one of these days I hope I can play at the high school level. Nothing has ever changed since even back then, 6A to 6-man. My first game I was asked to cover in TV was 1981. Parade Magazine, All-American team in New York, contacted me and asked me to get video of Lufkin's football star T.J. Turner. I went to the game, shot video, sent it off, and he became their player of the year. And that's when I was like, T.J. Turner, and that's my video on TV back then. I've been fortunate to cover some great players. Bobby Taylor, David Warren, Adrian Peterson, Traylon Shedd, Reggie McNeil, Rodney Thomas, and many others. This class of 2025 for me is special more than you'll ever understand. But it's also special because many of the inductees here today are people that I have attachments with, or I've run into, or I've known. For example, I covered Pat Mahomes at Lindale High School, one of the great athletes of all time. I saw Patrick running around in the clubhouse of the Texas Rangers in 2001, young ankle biter, first time I really saw Patrick. And then eventually, Craig, my son, and Brian Houston, who's also here with Craig, did the radio broadcast when the legend of Patrick Mahomes began. Also, I watched the single greatest team ever, in my opinion, but in a lot of opinions, 1983 Dangerfield. Jerry Gumbert was the sports director at Channel 7 in Tyler. Brad French was also been in the newspaper business and also TV. Jerry covered that team from start to finish, and he's meticulous in the way he put together stories and features and sportscast, and I learned a great deal of what I am today because of him. But I also learned, and you may not know, the Country Tavern's a barbecue ribs place in Kilgore. I learned you could also drive backwards in the middle of the night to Tyler, because Jerry did that one night, and I honestly don't know why he did, but I learned that from Jerry Gumbert. In 1985, I saw Dangerfield win their second of 3 state titles, and Cuero had a quarterback in Brad Gable, who for the first time I saw him play. That's when I first saw Brad Gable, so he's a part of this class. Jennifer and my son-in-law, Daniel, they told me they are not going to stand up. Jennifer, by the way, early in her pregnancy, and so Cindy and I are about to be, for the first time, grandparents. I also wanted to make the players who I covered in East and Central Texas feel like they were the Southwest Conference back in the 80s, or the Big 12 in the 90s, and even now, and also, for example, the SEC. In 2002, in the summer, a friend of mine that worked at the radio station named David Morgan, he was a technological wizard. He was a webmaster for the radio station's message board. He said, you need to start a website, and I didn't even really know what that was. So he made this thing called Smoky.com. Now, it's been successful, and that's great. But Jeff Traylor once truly told me this story, and I'm proud of you, man, that his mother would call him at the field house and go, Jeff, you hear what they're saying about you on the message boards at Smoky.com? Because he won. People hate coaches that, well, they don't hate, but they don't like them. And then Jeff was always the one winning, and he called me, hey, there's a thread about this and that. And finally, we would take one of them down, and sure enough, another would come back. But his mother used to always call him and talk about that. Man, I love you. Good to see you, Jeff. Great to have you as a part of this class as well. I didn't cover RG3 as a football player at Copper's Cove, but I was incredibly fortunate. My first 2 years in Waco, I covered Robert, coming back from the knee injury his 2 years, when took Baylor to the bowl game for the first time in like 17 years, and then the magical 2011 Heisman winner, and he was the number 2 pick in the NFL draft, and Paul Catalina, who's worked with me for 15 years, and I were in New York on the row, got a chance to interview RG3 like within 15 minutes after he was drafted, so I was a part of that experience with him. You know, coaches need assistants. Players need coaches, administrators, everything ties together. I've had a few people in my life that have helped me get to where I am today when it comes to, I guess, learning about this business. Devin Skillion, Roger Wallace, Mike LaRue, Bill Coach, Paul Catalina, Randy Johnson, and now Andrew Emery and Garrett as well. I have one story. You heard about an award that I happened to win about Jamie's season. I got a tip that Marshall, they were making their run in 1988, and they eventually were going to play Carter in the semifinals. And I got a tip about this ball boy because we had gone to shoot the game, and I saw this ball boy moving towards the midfield for the coin flip. And he had a Marshall jersey on. It was all the way down to his ankles. His name was Jamie. You hear about communities and how they're brought together by football. You hear about what towns can do if Columbus went through their tragedy and went on to win a state title. So I called Dennis Parker, the head coach. Danny Long was on that staff. Went out to see the Sexton family at his house. And Debbie Sexton, his mother, his sister was there. Everyone knows Odell Beckham, the wide receiver. His father, Odell Beckham Sr., was a great running back at Marshall and also was a hell of a player at LSU and beyond. They had a mattress out in this living room in front of a TV. And these were star football players laying around the mattress while Jamie was laying there watching TV. Jamie had leukemia. And Odell Beckham Sr. sat there just rubbing Jamie's hand and arm, just letting him know that people were there for him. Marshall went into the semifinals, lost to Carter on the last play of the game with a Jesse Armstead touchdown catch. I'll never forget what his mother said to me, that how much the town and football team helped Jamie. His sister told me that she believed Jamie lived longer because of the relationship with the football team. Jamie, after the game against Carter, which they lost, passed away from his battle with leukemia. He will never understand how much he meant to them because it was an amazing story. And Jerry helped me produce that story, along with others, during that time. Craig has been a co-host on 365 Sports, Paul Catalina as well. It is unbelievable to watch what they do. And he told me if I asked him to stand up, he would absolutely bolt out the back door. So I'm not going to do that. But he's an incredibly gifted and talented young man. There are people who put this banquet together. Tiffany Wilkins, Mike Anderson, Sam Thompson was my host tonight. Carlton Dixon, and of course, many others. Adam Hochfelder, Steve Slate. I want to thank everybody, Texas Farm Bureau Insurance, who's been a part of this as well. We have table sponsors, the Rogue Media Network, where now runs or owns our podcast on 365 Sports. There's also Adam Cook, Patrick's high school coach from Dub Advocates. We appreciate you. And Alan Samuels Holdings, the car dealership, the gymnasium, Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness, and also the House of Travel for being one of the sponsors here tonight. When I mentioned that I might be getting a jacket for the Hall of Fame, I was asked by my trainer, Christy, can you fit in it? And back then, I was pretty hefty. I fit in it pretty damn good tonight. and I got myself motivated and was able to get that done. Last thing, I got a great friend of mine, Eric Horton, who's watching on stream in Tyler. I have my brothers, Michael and Philip, my remaining brothers, are watching the stream tonight in Florida. I wish my oldest brother, Robert, was here. And my sister, Cherie. I used to play a game when I was younger. I sat at the desk in my bedroom, and I played this game with these cards that I made up. And I used to act like I was broadcasting, and thank God nobody could hear me except them, and they used to wonder what I was doing. Well, Mom and Dad, maybe learning how to broadcast at that young age helped me get to where I am, helped me understand the broadcasting business, and one of the best ever's right here in Craig Way with what he does. To all of the inductees tonight, the state championship coaches and those who were honored in other ways, Texas High School Football Hall of Fame voters, I appreciate this honor, I appreciate your time, and I cannot tell you how much this means to me. Thank you.
All right, again, we're going to ask our class of 2025 to come over here for a group photo, and they'll do that. We've got a couple other items to get to here, so please don't go anywhere yet. First of all, we want to thank Jostens for providing the 2025 Hall of Fame rings, which were presented to each inductee. We also appreciate Jostens for their continued support of Texas high school football for over 25 years. Jostens has been the exclusive provider of rings for our inductees. They're also the exclusive provider of watches for the state championship coaches, and Jostens provides the plaque presented to the Tom Landry Award winner. Okay, as they gather here for the group picture, we would like to sell some footballs for a very worthy cause, the continuing mission of the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame. The silent auction and the autographed football auction are the only two ways that the Hall of Fame raises money. So obviously your support is greatly appreciated. So please take a look at your table for the white card, which you can use to place your bid for one of the 19 autographed footballs. And here's our auctioneer, Texas High School Football Hall of Fame board member and vice president, Kevin Johnson.
All right, thank you, Craig. As Craig had mentioned, you have the white cards on your table. If you want to fill that out, and if you will hold those up once you have them filled out, we ask that you be as generous as possible. Again, we love putting on this banquet every year. We love being able to keep the exhibit up over at the Hall of Fame. We will have board members come around and pick those up from you. So if you'll hold those up high, we have board members coming around. Remember, this will be it. There's 19 of these, and this is part of history. So it's an awesome class we inducted tonight. And so if you want a piece of history there to have that as a memorabilia, then we ask that you fill that out, and we will come back here shortly. And again, we only have 19 of them. So thank you.
All right, and now it's time to announce our silent auction winner. So for that, we'll call upon Texas High School Football Hall of Fame board member Kyle Hayden with the announcement of our silent auction winners.
Before I announce the names, I wanted to thank you all for your generous donations here tonight and your participation to help the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame. Winners are Yuri Steen, Kenneth Schumacher, Lori Davidson, Don Sims, Ramon Vigil, Noah Charbonnet, Campbell Keithley, Daniel Golden, Jesse Gaston, Ray Green, Mike Jared, Kirk Gilliard, Kelly Gunter, Mike Setzer, Robert McLean, April Ancira, J.C. Brown, Bill Bailey, Stephen Dunn, and Coach Bass. Thank you all again for your generous donation.
Okay, so we got a couple other items. An event like this obviously would not be possible without the help and support of so many dedicated individuals. First, a special thank you to our inductees for being here tonight. Your presence clearly makes this evening truly special. We're honored to celebrate you and your incredible achievements. Congratulations to our Gordon Wood Award winner, Columbus High School, the Tom Landry Award winner, Coach Lee Wigginton. A special acknowledgement goes to the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame board members. Tireless work. Gentlemen, all of you who are board members, please stand and be recognized. Now, there's one other very important item here. Over the years, Adam Hochfelder and Dave Campbell's Texas Football Magazine have been incredible supporters of the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame. Each year, they generously provide the program that you have on your table at no cost to the Hall of Fame, and they help secure sponsors for the autographed footballs. And tonight, Adam and his team at Dave Campbell's Texan live streaming the event. We're truly grateful for their continued support, and he was also involved in another special presentation. At this time, the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame Board of Directors has a special presentation. We would like to have Dr. Charles Breidup please come forward at this time. Each year, under the leadership of Dr. Breidup, the Executive Director of the University Interscholastic League, the UIL extends a special invitation to that year's Hall of Fame inductees and their families to attend the Saturday State Championship games. And the UIL graciously provides a suite at AT&T Stadium for inductees and their guests to enjoy while they await a special moment, being introduced on the field between games in front of thousands of fans. They graciously provide this suite, and it's a true honor and one of the most memorable highlights for those who are able to attend. But that doesn't tell everything about Dr. Charles Breidup. You see, there was a time when high school football and the UIL had at best a wary relationship. And through the efforts over time of people like Dr. Charles Breidup and D.W. Rutledge and Joe Martin and Glenn West, the continuing relationship not only is great, but Dr. Breidup's contributions are immeasurable. He is the one who has shepherded Texas high school football into the 21st century, what it's done in terms of television, what it's done in terms of exposure, what it's done in terms of the state championships, where hundreds of thousands of fans get an opportunity to attend those. He is a former state high school basketball championship coach himself, an incredible innovator, educator, and someone who has aided athletics, educators, and state government as well. And after 50 years in public education, he's calling it a career, but he's not leaving without his Hall of Fame jacket. Dr. Charles Breidup, please come up for a couple of words.
No speech for me, just to say a couple things, just for you to recognize. There are about 30 million people who live in Texas. About 15 million are men. There are only 1,200 high school football coaches who are men. That's a pretty select group. We're blessed to have the knowledge and wisdom and grace that they provide for us on Friday nights. There's only 12 state championship teams crowned each year that are all back there in the back. Those are the tables you want to sit at if you're not here at the Hall of Fame. But only 9 men are elected into this hall each year. That's a select group. I'm proud to have some connections with some of them. The Barbay family, I'll tell you, I started my coaching career in 1975. Coach Barbay started in 1975. I was the subject of some of those fumbleback games. Well, they beat us so bad, they put somebody who intentionally, I didn't know that happened, but now I know. I'm insulted. Great man, he taught me a lot. I learned so much. I was a basketball coach, but I'll tell you, I learned a lot about coaching from Coach Barbay. Very simple things, but profound. And you know what? I'm kind of a hero worshiper just like you, and I want my picture made with Chip and Joanna Gaines. That's really what I came for. So thank you so much to the Hall, Mike Anderson. Thank you for everybody. Good night.
Okay, it is very special thanks to Texas Farm Bureau Insurance for their generous support of the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame and our ongoing mission to preserve the rich football history of the Lone Star State. We want to express our gratitude to Joe Martin, Glenn West, the Texas High School Coaches Association, Dr. Jamie Harrison, Ray Zepeda, and the UIL staff. And how about a round of applause to George's for this incredible meal we had tonight. Thank you, George's. And Steve Slate for our Hall of Fame portraits. Once again, here's Kevin Johnson to present the results of the autograph football auction.
Okay, I'll call your names, and at the end for the silent auction and for the footballs as well, if you meet right out there as you're leaving, you'll be able to take care of payment out there. So congratulations to these 19 individuals here. Matt Schobel, Chris Carruthers, Daniel Hare, Justin Ray, Doug Dixon, Susanna Sims, Don Sims, Hervey Pledger, Shanna Conine, Ray Green, Heather Fulmer, Burston Holman, Jack Welch, April and Sarah, Raymond Vigil, Uni Steen, Sammy Citrano, Kathy Morton, and Jesse Gaston. Thank you very much. We appreciate this.
We want to thank all of you for honoring us with your attendance tonight. And again, congratulations to all of our inductees. We hope to see you right here again next year. Have a safe trip home. Good night, everybody.